have fun with it.
I still had fun with it like the day we started it.
Yep.
Which was about a year ago.
Oh, it was a year ago.
Yeah.
I think we just surpassed 50.
This is the 52nd episode, Franklin. Or Francis. Sorry. Welcome, everybody, to the Faction After Hours podcast. We have another guest, and we're a little early, which is kind of dope.
For
right?
you.
Fuck you.
Some of our listeners are at work right now, probably.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's not on the speaker. Today we have Faruk Kugay.
Yep, there you go.
Okay, I almost fucked it up.
Damn, you nailed that shit.
That was good.
Yeah.
First try. That was good.
Yeah.
I'll clap for that. There you go.
Prospect driver,
Yep.
Prospect 2 driver, but you had a long automotive journey, which I've tried going through YouTube. All the videos are like 8 years ago, 6 years ago. So it's kind of cool to talk to you now. Like, you kind of been around the block, if you would call it.
Nice.
And now do you work for, I'm going to butcher that shit too. Enios?
Enios, yep. So they're one of our sponsors and partners for this season, and I've been with them for years. So I do some shop visits to cool shops like yourselves.
Yeah. That's how this link up actually happened, because he asked Chris Knapp if there was any, I guess, cool shops or whatever.
That's literally what I asked him.
Yeah. Any cool shops around the area. And Chris was like, Faction Motorsports. So he called
Wow,
me.
thank you,
There
Chris.
was one answer, too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That was
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, Chris
Would you
hooked
look
it
at
up,
that?
And then, so yeah, you messaged us. We were talking. I
Yep.
was like, yeah, come by, whatever. And then like I put the phone down, and then I'm like, I'm looking for podcast guests, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? I hit you back. Yo, you want to do a podcast? So that's how that worked out.
I also, there was, not to jump right into it, but like you're piloting an S14.
Yep.
And like, I don't know why, but I feel like when I just see S chassis in any type of competition, it gets me giddy because I'm like, I know without all that stuff, that's a can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my case, a very bent one, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is that the one? I know when you were originally trying to start your competitive. Would you call it your competitive career? You had an
Sure.
S14 as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So not the same one.
Okay, that was my
but
next
we
question.
still call it the same one because it was a reshell. So
Okay.
a lot of the parts transferred over. That one I got rid of, and then this one got started a few years ago. So in between, I drove an E92 with a 2J in it.
I saw that too.
Yep.
That steering wheel on there that you had, it had like a bunch of holes in it, and I was like,
Yep.
I'm gonna ask him if it felt weird to grip that thing.
It was amazing. It was a circle track steering wheel. Yeah. So it was cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you were in Europe for a while, right?
I was. Yeah. So I was born in Poland, but I came to the States when I was a baby, and I'm half Polish, half Turkish. And grew up in San Francisco in the Bay Area, just did all the drifting there, and it was amazing. And then I got kind of frustrated with not progressing like other people around me were. Like, this is early 2000s, right?
Mm-hmm. So
And
no Instagram,
no. Yeah.
nothing.
No one knew about what you were doing except for if you went to the track. Which
What
is
were you
amazing.
using as your source of information at the time? Do you remember?
Yeah, what were we downloading in college? Like, it had like a little green icon. I don't know, just watching like old school JDM videos, right? And like
Okay.
Oh, a little green, like LimeWire?
LimeWire. There you go.
Okay.
Holy
that's
hell!
aging, I'm
You
old,
can't
man.
be
I'm 40
forgetting
years
about
old. I'm 39,
LimeWire
yeah,
now.
yeah.
LimeWire was LimeWire trickled into my generation. Okay,
Yeah.
Barely,
you download a
but yeah.
song. Welcome to BootyBeats.com, and then it's like,
Yep.
and then the song starts.
All I remember is downloading music, and then you just hear like, it's fucking, what's his face? Like JFK, my fellow Americans. Like, and you're like, what the fuck is this? This isn't a song.
Yep.
This is Blink 182.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember 360 video from back in the day? It was like they did all the like Japanese underground videos from like they had DVDs.
I heard of it,
They had
but-
DVDs. Like, yeah.
360 video.
I heard of that, but I don't think I remember actually like watching.
Anyways.
Okay, yeah. So
That kind of
you're
stuff.
what you're downloading.
Yeah.
You're allegedly downloading
Right.
videos on the internet of drifting.
Yeah.
Like old school drifting.
Napster. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Okay, and then, so where were you drifting? Like where?
Where was I allegedly drifting?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Where you started off street drifting?
Mountains,
and,
right? So yeah, there's the cool thing about the Bay Area is that it's surrounded by mountains and amazing roads.
Oh, I love it over there.
And
man.
it was one of those things. So my buddy George, who I started driving with when I was 19, 18, whatever, however old you were, and that was what 2000, 2001, 2002, whatever that was. Right?
Okay.
We had Kugay Tuesdays, so we just meet up and like
That's amazing.
no one would run on weekends because you don't want to like everyone drives
Yeah.
on the weekends.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays, nobody's out there.
Oh,
And
facts.
so we would run on one-way roads and like it was everyone starts somewhere, right? It's not a great, thing to promote, and especially with what's going on now with like people, I think were a lot more respectful that back then, and there are still those people. But it was the idea of like just you and a couple guys on the top of a mountain and just having fun with it.
Yeah, not doing it for Instagram.
And also, I believe there was another podcast guest where we talked about kind of drifting in that area, and they said no one really knew what that was back then. So like even if you kind of were caught doing it, they were more like, "Get the hell out of here! What do you think you're doing?" And
they
go home.
probably just thought it was like aggressive drivers.
Yeah. It was not to the level it is now.
Now those roads over there, those one-way roads that you're describing, they ain't exactly wide.
No, yeah.
No,
And
sometimes
nor
they're on the
is
side
there
of
always a guardrail there.
Yeah, dude, yeah. What's with California not having guardrails?
I was loving it.
Yeah, I mean it's cool, but like, geez.
Me and Frankie were over there a few months ago, and like, I don't know. I just wanted to drive over there.
I was there 2 days ago, and I can attest to there are no guardrails on a lot of those roads, dude.
Love it.
It's bad. Like it's crazy. But that's something that we don't really have here that you guys definitely have.
Yeah,
Like,
mountains.
yeah, our mountains are pathetic compared to yours. Like,
Whoa,
dude, you go. How can I explain this? So I'm at like a hotel room. My friend Josh DeLees just got married, so we were in California.
Congratulations, Josh.
But so I was out there. You open the window, you just see these mountains taking over like half the view. You're just like, yeah, that's half the sky. And then I come back here and I look outside my apartment, and I'm just like, I don't even know if I could see Bear Mountain. Like the mountains are so low compared to that.
Well, that's why growing up in that era that's where you're learning how to drift.
I know, dude. I'm so jealous of
That's
that.
sick.
It was fun. It was and so quickly I got so my buddy asked me like, why don't you go to the track? And I did super early on.
Which
And
track?
So the first one that I remember him inviting me to was there's a drift day at Altamont, and which is
Altamont.
if you look it up, there used to be concerts back in the day, and it was a circle track, but it had an infield, and it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
So we went there, and then we were going down to Buttonwillow, and quickly I actually did a competition up at Sonoma, and that was like 03, 04, I think the competition up at Sonoma was in one of the parking lots at Sonoma. So you're on the track, but not really on the track, and it was a blast. From there, it just kind of
Wait, Sonoma. Do you know? In that era, I had made a friend on another podcast, Lex.
Yeah,
Lex is king.
That's hilarious. Lex is the dude, man. Lex is OG. And
Yeah, and he
amazing human. Like just generally amazing.
Let me
human.
tell you, when he was on the podcast, do you remember his voice at all?
I know Lex
He
very
has.
well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, his voice on these microphones was
Lex
like.
is on this podcast.
Yeah, we did a podcast with
we
him.
went out there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because we were out there for Black Dudes Drift, that event at.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That was
So-
awesome. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
What, you want to imitate his voice a little bit, or?
I can't, dude. I don't think my vocal cords can.
You did it one time. It was pretty good.
I don't know how to say
There,
this
it's just
without
like a
saying it.
radio voice.
His voice has girth to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it does. That's a
Right.
good way to put
Let's
it.
just put it that way.
Yeah.
Yes. And then no, it wasn't just Lex. We did a Jamar.
Yeah, Jamar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Those
With
dudes are
the-
rippers, man.
Yeah.
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 And he's from the Bay, I think,
Yep.
too.
Yep.
And
Well,
like
they were giving us a whole rundown on
no
that
gang
area.
banging
Yeah,
in
so-
the Bay. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
shit, oh my fault, my fault. Like
So it's the Bay Area drift scene is pretty incredible, right? Like especially
that
since
sounds so cool.
I mean, there's just a lot of events,
Yeah.
So I run something called Sonoma Drift at the racetrack. So, now we're 20 Wednesdays a year. We have an event, and then we have Winter Jam, which is 350 cars. 5,000 people come watch. It's
Yeah, I've heard of Winter
Six
Jam.
tracks. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And
That's sick.
Lex said he was he doing some events there too at
Yeah.
one point? Yeah, yeah.
So he was one of the founders of Sonoma Drift. So it started in
Oh, wow.
2011 with like Lex and Lino and a couple other dudes. They just were like at a car show, and they're like, "Hey, let's get this going." Lino worked at the track, and then Lino was also doing other things. Like he ran operations. He ran the whole shebang, right? So he ran maintaining the whole racetrack like a NASCAR track, and then now he took on this other aspect of running the drifting.
Yeah.
Scene.
Lex was making it seem like they were trying to take it off the street and make
Yep.
it a little bit more legit.
That,
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was literally the story.
Yeah.
He was like that's so. I just think it's funny because like how that circle just happened just now.
That's funny.
Like,
I
yeah.
didn't know
Yeah.
you guys were in California. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
th-
Yeah.
I had no
we went-
idea about that.
We went into they were having a nice happy family function in their Airbnb or wherever, if it was somebody's house, and we came in there and did a pod, and I was not expecting none of that.
That's right.
Jamar's
Oh, dude,
eating,
it
eating
was-
grits. Or no,
Yeah.
no,
No, it was.
cream of wheat.
Okay.
Cream of wheat.
Get it,
Because I said, what are those grits? And he said, no, get yourself some cream of wheat or something.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm butchering it.
Wait, what did he have you drinking?
Oh, Henny Palmer. It was,
Dude, it was a blast. Man.
That's awesome.
I threw
That was one
Frankie
of our-
my keys. I was like, Frankie, whoop.
And it was funny because like right before we got there, we were exhausted because we were driving a bunch. We went to the event. We were outside in the sun and then I'm like, yo, they want to do the podcast now. He's like, dude, he looks so tired. And then the second we get there and he sits down, it's like a switch fucking.
Dude, you
went
don't
off.
run into a lot of guys that wear the beanie with the visor anymore. I feel like I couldn't even picture. I can't even picture Lex without it because that was the one time I saw him.
Yeah,
So
that was one of our funnest podcasts. That's
yeah,
awesome.
that was cool.
Yeah.
California's great.
Yeah, dude,
right
doing
on.
the
I love it,
drifting,
man.
but so when you're starting out the drifting thing, you don't have an off season. Growing up too,
yeah, that's
you're
weird.
just doing it 365 days a year.
That's weird for me.
Like,
Yeah, because there's no snow. We don't have any
yeah,
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? So you got to drift around at Sonoma. You said you did a competition there.
Yep, it was a single run comp back like 03, 04. Yep.
It's like a tandem based competition. Like it's you 1v1.
No, so back then it was just single run comp. That was
Oh.
like super early on.
Yeah,
Like,
you're doing
03.
solos.
Yeah, 04.
Completely
Yeah.
based
Yep.
on what? Still clipping zones.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just style.
Yep.
X factor.
Whatever they were doing back then.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I just fucking mind blown, dude. That this is. You
I'm
guys,
trying to think. Was that
same
before
era.
Formula Drift too?
That was, that it was so long ago. I don't. So
I
that
think
was.
Formula Drift was 2003.
It started in 04.
It did. Okay.
FD started in 04.
Yeah.
Yeah. D1 was 03. Yeah.
Fuck.
But you were asking about Europe. That's right after that I moved to Europe. So 07 I moved to Europe, and then
Okay.
I was out there for 6.5 years.
So why did you move there in the first place?
So I was, a lot of the buddies were going to FD. They were doing well. I just felt like, I don't know, something wasn't clicking, a little bit frustrated. I was like, let
Yeah.
me try something else. So my dad was organizing a festival based on my minority in Turkey. So I'm a minority from Turkey. That half of it is. And so I went out there and worked for the festival and for the summer. And I was like, this is dope. This is cool. And then I realized I'm not really getting paid. I'm getting like a stipend and kind of just hanging out
Yeah.
and helping out. And, sold all my stuff, moved up across the world that way. And
Holy shit.
then I just Googled drifting in Istanbul, and a company popped up that was just starting out that was teaching drifting. And so I applied, and they're like, yeah, you're fucking hired. So, and
That's amazing.
no, and then I started with the two guys there. They had not even given a lesson yet. We started the whole drifting scene out there. And
Holy
it was,
shit.
there was
Well, you said Istanbul.
Turkey.
Yeah. That's just so. What the fuck?
Yeah, so
Like-
so I'm half Turkish, half Polish, and my father had a festival out there, so I
That's
went to go
sick.
just kind of,
That's so cool.
and that started off my kind of like European journey where I'm half Polish, so I visited my buddy in Poland. They had a huge drift scene in Poland at the time, and they still do. And then so I went there, I went to Germany, and I just kind of, when you're in Europe, everything's 3.5 hours away, so you just hop on a plane and just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just checking stuff out, and then they hired me as a judge, as an instructor, this and that, and like it just kept snowballing. And then I met the right people at the right time, or was in the wrong place at the right time, or however you put that.
Yeah.
And
So like you said, all the countries are so close to each other. It's like 3 hours away. You're in another country.
Yep.
But the drift scene could be so much different in that country than
Yep.
another. That's so crazy.
it's wild. So I mean, that kind of exists in the States though, where like state to state,
States.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, a little bit.
I feel
yeah.
like, but recently I've been seeing like a lot more people are taking to that like style over everything. Like they're styling the cars more. Like
Thank
I
God.
thought for a while that like the Pacific Northwest had like the most banger cars.
right?
I always thought the Midwest had the best cars.
Oh yeah, you're right.
as
though,
far
see?
as looks go.
But then like we're over here in the East Coast, and we're pretty
Dude,
cool.
the East Coast for the longest time was shitbox 240s. That's what it was.
So I announce at Hyperfest a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been doing it, I think 5 times or 6 times.
Okay.
And the cars on the East Coast that I see compete are probably some of the most serious like pro-am cars
Okay.
anywhere in the country.
All right,
Nice.
see, Frankie,
The-
there you
like
go.
the style here, okay, it might not be that kind of low hot boy style that you see in like Pacific Northwest or
Yeah.
I haven't been to. I mean, I've been to Gingerman, but I didn't see that many there. But Pacific Northwest has some amazing cars. But the cars I see at Hyperfest that are like pro-am level, those guys could easily compete in pro spec or lower level pro. You know what I mean? That-
Yeah.
Very,
yeah,
very
the comp
serious cars.
cars around here definitely are pretty good, I would say. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking more grassroots 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like
what you would see at the
at the
track.
go-kart track. Like
Now
a
the driving would be amazing,
Yep.
but the cars would be like should this be on the track? I don't know. You know, but no, everything changed like 7 years ago. Around 7 years ago, kind of right when Final Bout was starting.
Okay.
That's when more and more people were like, "Oh, these cars look good." It's like for some reason, all of a sudden, everyone just remembered that it's nice to have a cool looking drift car.
Right.
Well, also like 7 years ago, you got to think like the boom of like being able to see, like you're exposed to it way more 7 years ago.
Yeah,
Like it was the
that too.
start of like Instagram, Twitter, whatever the other stuff is. You know, those are the only two I know. Facebook.
So I mean, we've talked about this even this trip where I was in Pro 1 in 2016, right? And I remember getting a file back from a couple of photographers, like a whole folder back from a couple of photographers, and I couldn't use any of the photos because like there was no bumper on the car, one fender was missing, like this was ripped off, and I was like, all right, nothing is useful. You know what I mean? Like I can't even send it to anybody, and that was kind of like a moment where before that I was just worried about the driving, right? I just wanted to drive, develop the driving, just get better and better, and then, you know, along with that goes an aesthetic aspect. I mean,
Especially when you're trying to please sponsors and stuff like that. It's like they kind of want body panels on the car, I would assume.
yeah, or even I mean, it's funny because you like even showing my family the photos, right? Like coming home and like you know like what the fuck is this?
I can't show them this.
Yeah, right.
That's how I felt at every like Club Loose event back in the day. I'd be like, all right, the driving's sick, but like, what is this? And then you'd occasionally get like the really sick rare car, and you're like, damn, okay, that. And he puts on like a good run. A good run. You're like, damn, that shit is crazy. Like it just, seeing a car with all of its body panels on and everything. I don't know. It's just different.
I feel like it tells you that you're good. Like, check out my shit. It's still whole.
Not only good, but like that you care. Because even if it does break off and everything, you got to go put it all back on, make sure it looks proper before it goes back out. I mean, that's what you do in FD too. I mean,
absolutely.
So,
and it's I don't know. It's I think drifting's going in a good direction. People do care now. I think.
Yes. And like, I don't know. So you moved from I'm trying to piece together. Like, did you just come back and you were just like professional?
So one of my best friends is this guy named Chris. He's actually the godfather for my daughter. He's Polish, but has lived in England for the past 10 years.
Okay.
Awesome dude. Has a JZX 100. And so
already more winner in my book.
Right? So we're at his apartment in Stoke Newington in London, and we're just, you know, having drinks, and he's like, what are you going to do next? It's 2011. And I was like, I don't know, man. I kind of, because when I was judging out there and instructing and all that kind of stuff, something was in me where I was like, I never like gave competing a fair shot.
Yeah, like
right?
a good old college try. Like
there you go. Yeah,
even
exactly.
like
That's a good way to put it,
like
right?
I mean like going through like hardships within it.
Yeah.
You know, like
I did
that's
a couple pro-am rounds.
Yeah.
Kind of like I dabbled, right?
Yeah.
And then, but so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go do FD. And he's like, what? Fucking go do it.
Oh
right?
yeah, man. Like,
And so I 13, I was still flying back and forth doing events out there. 13, and then 14, I was here full time.
Okay.
And then I built an S14, and then I pretty much used all the knowledge I got from the European cars. Were JZ S14, Wisefab, which was unheard of back then, and then Wisefab knew me from Europe. And so you're gonna hate me for this. I brought Wisefab to the States.
oh, you're the one that did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Right?
which one of these was?
You'd be lucky if you make it out of
Is the
here.
door locked? Can I get out? Yeah.
Yeah. One of the cars had a wide. Or
well,
two of the
One of
cars.
the cars.
You
right?
actually, you would actually appreciate that. Justin's car had Wisefab on it, and Scott's car is the craziest car that had Wisefab.
But the wheels fit still.
So
I would have never known.
that was like that was Final Bout 2, and it was right when Origin had the Type 3 fenders and everything.
Yep, I have those on my car.
Yeah, I was like, we need to order all these right now because that's the only way your cars are not going to look like shit.
Yep.
So he orders all those, whatever. Scott had to rebuild his wheels.
To make the Wisefab fit?
100%, dude.
That's awesome.
Like
I
he
love
went
that.
way above and beyond to do that. He had like
Probably like a plus 60 offset.
you'll never resell those wheels ever again because everyone's gonna be like, "What in the fuck is this? Is this size?" Like
They're for S2000s.
Yeah.
I wish Scott could. I'll find
awesome.
out from Scott and say it on another episode. But the offset is insane. But yeah, no, those cars were like they had Wisefab, they worked,
Yep.
but they looked really great. And I was like, all right, whatever, I guess. But so you're the reason that Wisefab was going.
So,
Jeez.
2014 did Pro-Am, got my Pro 2 license back then. 2015 did Pro 2.
Okay.
And then moved up to Pro 1 in 2016.
So
So it's like
16
boom, 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 3 years.
S14 throughout.
S14 throughout.
Haha.
And then I made the wrong move. Well,
Wait,
okay.
no.
Yeah, okay,
Everybody
let's-
makes mistakes. It's all right. You can say it.
so
This
I
is
was
a
like-
safe space, Frankie.
I was like, all right, I needed something that's more appealing to newer sponsors. And I was like, I'm gonna go build the E92.
Okay.
Okay.
Horrible fucking idea.
This
Like,
was the video that I saw, the one we were talking about earlier with the steering wheels and with the holes in the steering
Yep.
wheel. But it wasn't Jay-Z though.
It was a Jay-Z. So
Yeah.
I took the Jay-Z out of the S14 and we put in the E92. And it was back then they were just developing the suspension for the E92. So now
Yeah, wait, that was a kind of a new car.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
It was 2016, and like I called around junkyards that were posting parts for E92s, and I was like, hey, how cheap would you sell me the car, like just the bare chassis? And one guy was like 10 grand. I was like, okay, I want to buy it for 2. He's like, fucking good luck. And so I was like, I don't need the dash, I don't need the interior, I started listing what I don't need. I don't need the suspension, and like he's like, you need the chassis, and he's like, well, all right, we're gonna throw that away or like cut
Yeah.
it up and scrap it unless someone buys a floor pan
Because
or
you could
something.
probably part it all out.
Exactly. And so I got one for $2,000. Actually, $1,800.
There you go.
And
Damn.
You won.
And it
The
was-
art of the deal.
Well, then
Right?
you got to build the whole car.
Then you got to build the whole car. And I wasn't ready in my career to do that. Like I should have stuck with a car that I knew because 16 I was struggling. 17 I was like, you know what? If I have some funding, it'll help me to not suck.
That's where my main question is. Were you the only person? Like, did you have a shop sponsor? Did you have any sponsors at the time?
No.
You were a privateer
Holy
this whole fucking time?
The whole time. So like 16 I had shops that would help me out, right?
Yeah.
In Pro-Am and Pro 2, I had a shop called Limitless Motorsports that was amazing. They were like awesome, but they essentially we went different directions.
Wait. Limitless Motorsports.
You might know them from NorCal. They were great.
Did they have a Subaru GC8 video?
I don't know.
Holy shit, that might be my favorite video I've ever seen in my life. And I think it was them.
If only you had a computer in front of you,
You're right.
motherfucker.
Stay tuned.
So and then anyway, so the E92 happened. The rear suspension of the E92 is super tricky. It's a 5-arm multi-link. And so it's super easy to twist the knuckle as you're lining it, right?
Oh, okay.
2 arms adjust the camber.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
One arm adjusts the toe, and it's super easy to F it up.
Yeah.
Right? Straight up. And once YSFAB developed a rear kit for it, everything got better. But it took, like, Chris Stops and I were guinea pigging it. Mm-hmm. He has an amazing shop in Latvia called HDK.
Okay.
It's-
Might have heard of him.
me and my dudes like fucking going at it, and but it worked out in the end. And like by the time 2018 was a struggle, but 2019 the car was amazing. And then I was doing demos and I wasn't competing in 19, and I just turned up the power too much and blew the motor, sprayed oil everywhere. The car caught on fire. So
Of that Jay-Z?
that Jay-Z.
Do you remember
SEMA.
the power that you were...
Yeah. So it's a rod company that was not how to say this without saying okay. See, this we were talking about what not. to talk about, right?
That's all right. Take your time. You can
So,
figure out a way to
I guess
say
when
it.
you're looking at what things are rated to, make sure that that you know that they're usually crank horsepower, not wheel horsepower. And so and limiter, like so if something's rated at like 700 horsepower and you're on limiter, that's actually like 900 horsepower because of the hydrolock that happens at limiter. So I'm at SEMA Ignited, and we're just doing like a demo, and I'm like finishing off the tires. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just do a massive burnout, and I left with brake and doing a massive burnout, and then this motor just lets go.
Oh.
And their oil sprays all up into the car because the oil pan lets go, and it will not unignite. Like they're putting it out, and it just keeps relighting, and I can't get out of the car because there's oil everywhere, and I'm like slipping, and it was like it's pretty
bad.
pretty bad. Like,
That sounds horrible.
Scale,
Yeah,
of,
like,
scale of
what?
1 to fucked. I was like almost there. You know,
Surprised
like,
I didn't even hear about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what?
Maybe we did. I don't even
Well,
remember.
one, I'm glad you're safe.
right on.
Yeah.
Like, and doesn't look like you have any burns.
No, that was good.
Or
Oil's
anything?
pretty cool actually, and I had a fire suit on, right?
Yep,
So-
fire suit. I was
Yeah.
going to assume once you said SEMA, I was like, there was probably, hopefully, some safety.
Yeah, there was. I mean, FD
Going
was
on.
doing it, and they were right on it. They kept putting it out, right, but it kept reigniting. So
Okay.
it's like
Damn.
but that car, that was the last time I drove that car.
Yeah.
And then I sold it, and someone actually is bringing it back to life. That's in an amazing way. But
okay.
yeah,
That's cool.
so yeah.
Was that the same? So that was the same Jay-Z out of the S14? You just kept.
Well, yeah, same Jay-Z. So I've had. We were talking about this the other way. I think I've had.
Are you going to say how many Jay-Z's you've
yeah,
owned?
Yeah. So it's like 18, I think, at this point. Yeah.
Could Carl get one? He just wants one.
I have an IS, and I'm trying to put a 1J in it currently.
Nice.
And
Why would you do that?
It's like the easiest. I wanted to put a beams in it.
Why don't you just turbo it?
Oh,
Everybody's
shit.
telling me
Here
to
we
turbo
go.
it, but
I
You just got to change
That's
the rods.
just me.
The
Don't
only thing wrong with your JZ is the rods.
yeah, it's a GE. I'm
Yeah.
assuming you know. But
He knows a lot about rods.
yeah,
Yeah.
crank horsepower, not wheel horsepower. Remember that.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I don't know.
He was
I don't
thinking
know.
about turboing it.
I thought about turboing it, but like ever since I got into drifting, this is just like now this is on a personal level for me why I want to get a 1J.
Yep.
On paper, turboing it is the most efficient way, budget friendly way.
Yep.
But there's a sound that a 1J makes
Oh,
that
it's
a
amazing.
that a GE doesn't,
Yep.
and it could be the intake manifold or the way the exhaust ports are spaced out, like we learned on the other
Yeah.
podcast. But it just makes a sound that makes my ears horny as fuck.
Yep. That's
And
good.
it's just that's it.
Hey, and that's
That's
one
what
of
I
the
want.
that's one of the important parts. Of
Unfortunately, I didn't have this epiphany like 4 years ago when they were like $2,000.
yeah. I mean,
Right.
even now, I feel like those JZ motors, like, because we work on a lot of SRs here.
Yep.
So like, someone came by the other day. They're trying to do an engine swap for their kid or something. They put the packet down that they got, and it says the amount that they paid for the engine, and I was like, holy shit! It was like $6,600
For an SR.
for an SR swap from a depot.
With just the ECU and harness, or what's on it?
That's rough.
They skimped them on the MAF too.
That's really rough.
I think they got the ECU. But
So there's recipes for. It's funny because I did a video on this and like, it got a lot of views, but there's a lot of. There are cheaper ways to do JZs. Let's put it that way.
oh,
Because-
he needs to see that video.
Well, what's the
Yeah.
video?
So you can
Give
buy
me
you
a pen.
can buy a bare 2J GTE head from a dealer still. Like JZ guys are gonna hate me for this.
Wait, I think no. There's occasionally a guy who'll buy one and he'll take a picture of it.
Malcolm, put that
Out
on
of the
on the
box.
website.
Yeah,
or
they're
something.
$1,500.
Yeah.
From the dealer.
2JZ GTE head.
GTE head. Yeah.
So then all the GT accessories
that's
goes on.
That's
Intake
a bare
manifold.
head though. So like
You would build it
that's
from-
deceiving, right?
Yeah.
So like, let me put it this way: it's the cheaper way of doing it instead of going to an engine depot and buying a $7,000 JZ and then stripping it down and then building it. You can get the core pieces for $2,000, right? So you get the head and then you get the block and the crank. You'll get that for $2,000, and then you build it up. So you still need the valve covers. You need all the intake manifold, exhaust manifold. So you're just saving yourself $4 or $5 grand.
And it's also
core.
new
It's also
versus
new.
in a
Being
you don't
cut
ever
in
really
those.
know from
What
a
the history of
depot.
it, exactly.
Yeah.
So that 6,600 price was a SR, but a JZ, aren't you said they were like 4?
Yeah, I've been finding them right now. They settled down a little bit during COVID.
To
it was
me,
like,
that sounds okay now.
yeah,
sounds pretty good.
That's why
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now or never. Like I'm just
Which is funny because like 3 fucking years ago, that price wasn't good, right?
nah. 3-4 years ago it was like 23,
Yeah.
maybe 2,500.
And SRs were like $3 grand.
Yeah,
I used to buy them for $1,600-1,700 with
Yeah.
no manifolds. So like head block, no manifolds.
JZ.
Yeah, that sounds like no turbos,
No turbos
no intake manifold. Yep,
Yeah.
no accessories.
and VVTIs were cheaper. So I bought the VVTIs.
That's the one that I want. Because I do street drive it, and I from what like the older all the forum posts are like 2016, 2015.
Yeah.
They're like, I would go with the VVTI. The gas mileage is going to be better, and I was like, win.
Never thought about that.
But it,
That's cool.
it's not really. It's not
Yep.
really. But I care about shit like that. I drive the
Yeah.
car around a moderate amount,
Which is rad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it drives. I work in an office, and like I'll pull into work. The other day, actually, this happened. I pull into work, and everybody's like walking towards the building, and I'm late. So like you just hear, boom, like the car is literally like the horrifying sound.
You know his coworkers are inside like, oh, here
Welded
comes
diff?
here
Is that
comes
the welded
Tokyo
diff?
Drift.
Well, the
again.
diff, one-piece drive shaft because it's running a CD trans,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
it just sounds horrible.
What up, Toretto? That's what they say when you walk
No,
in.
I heard somebody the other day walk by it. Like I was taking a break. There's like a picnic table by my car. I try to park in the same spot. There's a picnic table by it, and I'm sitting there, and people were walking by, and I heard one of them go, "Oh, it's like the Fast and the Furious," and I wanted to be like, "Thank you. Now get the fuck on."
That's awesome.
But so you had how many? You said 18.
18. Yeah.
18 JZs.
Yeah. Of different variations.
I'm glad you counted them at least. Like
We went through it. Yeah. There was
Yeah.
like I had to like there's the
Yeah.
marks. It was good. So that's crazy. But
When was that one? Oh yeah, there was that one.
so the one in the I'm probably jinxing this right now, but the one in the car is now beginning of 2020 has been in the car since then.
okay.
So
So
that's
you have like a history of blowing these things.
blown
up?
them the fuck up.
Wow. And how much power do you usually push?
So it varies. So I was for like 2019. The reason the reason we built that one was I was running stock bottom ends that I would find in junkyards. So I'd like get a SC300, which is a non-VVTi.
Yep. Oh no, yeah, I got one at my house right now.
And then just put my turbo head on there and fucking and,
Okay.
and
I have all of these things at my house.
I found all the limits, right? So I found
Yeah.
the stock bottom end limit. I found the unnamed rod limit that I won't mention.
Yep, yep.
And you go through them and you realize when they blow. And like so, 2018, it was actually a wall. My gearing was a little bit off, and we pretty much figured out that when I hit limiter, the counterweight hits the skirt of the piston when you run stock rods.
Holy shit.
And then breaks off a little piece and then ends up in the oil pan.
Yeah.
So you just pull the oil pan off, take the little pieces off, and if the rods are a little bent,
Self clearance.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and so,
but it'll run though because it's a
run.
JZ.
It'll run.
Bitch.
So I did a round like that, and then I'm trying to remember exactly what the timeline was, but we got another bottom end in it because we were like, okay, let's put another bottom end in it, and it was not doing that as long as I stayed off limiter. And then in Jersey at Wall, I had the limiter to get like the link down, and yeah, it bent the rods again. So if you were on limiter then we were at 550, 600 horsepower.
Oh, that's well more than.
Yeah, but on limiter it would bend the rods. Off limiter it wouldn't bend the rods. Stock rods.
Yeah.
So another best friend of mine has his SC at my house.
Yep.
And right next to it, there is a 1J non-VVTi on a stand that he bought for mad cheap. So there's a head on it.
Sick.
But he also has the block too, and the block from the 1J. And now I'm hearing this, and I'm like, yo, Daryl, God forbid you listen to this, but buddy, we got some shit to do, man. I'm gonna get some information after this.
So also, if you're not putting like that amount of heat with what you see at like pro drifting, and you're not putting like excessive amounts of limiter, you can make 750, 740 with stock bottom end.
Bro, we're trying to make over
Yeah.
4.
No, you're fine.
or maybe just under 4.
This
Like,
guy
I've
can't
never
have
owned a
700
car
horsepower.
over 300 horsepower before, dude. Ever.
Yeah.
But I would like to shoot for like 350 with the one.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd feel like a rocket ship to me, man.
Yeah, no shit.
My Pro Am
God.
card made 410, which was a VVTi 1J, and it was amazing. It was incredible.
Which color was that already? The Enios livery on it?
No.
Yeah.
That was like back when I didn't care what the car looked like. It had one fender, like no rear quarter
the
panels.
chrome wheel looking wheels. All the
maybe.
videos they had the chrome, the same chrome, like
Had those wheels for a while.
yeah,
So,
like
What
either a
wheels are they?
CCW or a XXR.
So
or
if you look up like I don't know what to look up.
it was just a chrome
Yeah,
mesh wheel.
CCW,
Like it's
yeah.
exactly what you
Okay.
would picture a
Yeah.
chrome wheel to look like. And I was like, damn, I haven't seen those wheels in forever.
Yeah.
Miata people love them for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, damn, fuck.
So, I don't know where we ended this. I think we ended the story when you went to Pro 1.
Went to Pro 1.
With
Yep.
the E92.
So we were 2017, built the E92, massively failed. I showed up to Long Beach, car just did not work, like at all. Electric power steering was scary as F.
Yeah.
And it was all walls, and I was like, and we couldn't get the right spacers on. I got memed like a motherfucker.
Oh, pain.
And it was no one made a body kit for the E92, so I got like this wide body kit. The wheels that we ordered didn't show up. It was awful, like like imagine like
I need to see photos of that.
there was just egg on my face, right? Like
Okay.
and at
That
one
doesn't
point-
feel good.
at all.
Probably.
And so I was like, you know what? And at that point, like I was like, all right, I've got a lot of pride in what we do and like my driving, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, this is pretty shitty feeling. So I took the spacer that I had a 3-inch spacer to try to make the wheels fit, which did not work, by the way. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna
Thank
just
you to
have
everyone.
people- right? Yeah.
Don't fucking do that. He's telling you don't to do
not do
not
that.
to do that.
I know a lot of people with 3-inch spacers.
But so what I did
and
after
they're all on Front Street drifting.
after we couldn't go on track, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have people come take pictures with a spacer. And that's when that was like an epiphany moment where I was like, you know what? I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
Like this is I'm here to drive and I'm here to enjoy like the journey.
Yeah.
And fuck y'all.
Yeah. Dude, I need to see that.
I'm on the internet. Suck my dick. Like,
I need to see the photo of the
what?
spacer.
What? Roughly around what year was that?
That was 2017. And so
17.
I only did one round and then I took 4 rounds off to rebuild the whole car because it was a mess.
Oh my god.
And then I went back at Texas. We qualified and got knocked out. Texas, and then Irwindale I did that year. So I only did 2.5 rounds, you call it.
Would you say that was the most stressful drifting year of your life, or
It was, and the crazy thing is that's when I met my fiance.
Oh,
and
wow.
in the middle of that, so I don't know if you guys have the same thing, but when I don't have a running car, like I'm in the
shittiest mood every time.
He can relate.
Everywhere.
Dude, it's weird, right?
It sucks.
Like
It sucks.
I'm generally a weirdo, but I'm even more of a weirdo when I don't. Yeah.
Dude. Oh,
And through
I
that,
love you.
through that scenario, I met her. So that shows you how strong a woman she is.
Yeah,
you're like,
seriously.
if you
You
can
should have met you at the lowest of low. Dude, I know that feeling.
Right?
You could be as happy as you can be. Like, you could be doing shit and you can have a good time. But, like...
At the back of your mind...
But then you sit down, you're like,
I should really go work on that car, right? Like, there's
yeah,
like a thing.
fuck.
Yep.
Like, you open your phone, you're like,
Yeah.
fuck. But,
So,
damn.
yeah.
So she could handle you then.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
so the first time the car ran, she was in the car, which is rad. And yeah, it progressed from there. So 18, I went back to FD. Car looked better. Didn't have 3-inch spacers. Got the wise fab on there. We figured that part out and did okay. You know, what we went through the season. I had a interesting sponsor, and then 19, I was like, I just need my sponsor was pretty. It just took a lot of effort. 18 took a lot of mental effort.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 19, I was like, I just want to have fun. So I did like Grid Life and a bunch of activation, Hoonigan, all
Yeah,
that
a little
stuff.
dip your toes back in.
Just,
Yeah.
I actually drove more in 19 than I did in 18.
Funny how
and
that
then-
works.
right?
More, but you did more what, like, not competitions.
No, I just
Just
did everything.
events.
Yeah, I drove all the way. We drove all the way to Grid Life in Atlanta from California, and just just dumb. 48
California to where? To
Atlanta, Georgia, just for Grid Life, and then came back, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
oh my fucking god, I would die.
It
I would
was,
love it.
It was dumb,
I
but
would love
amazing
it.
at the same time.
Yeah, like if you got a good crew, did you get a good group
Yeah,
with you?
yeah, we had a good.
Was Harry there? We have Harry over here
yeah.
too, by the way. Yeah. But yeah, that if you got a good group, I feel like the stories and the memories you probably have from that trip alone,
Yep.
yeah, like will make you smile. Put a
And that-
smile on your face, or be like, God damn that motherfucker.
That 19 crew turned into the 20 FD crew. So going back, I was like, you know what? The car caught on fire, right? At the end of 19 at SEMA, it was like we repainted it. Everybody came together. We got the car in a booth, Borg Warren booth at the end of 19. Did this like it was amazing. Like people were like, "This is the same car," and we did.
That must have felt so good.
It was
Like,
cool
that's right.
Yeah.
for
I'm
a day.
fucking here.
For a day. Yeah, or a week,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
SEMA was. And then we did the demo. Well, I did the demo. Nobody else did it, but like I can't blame anybody but myself. And I lit the car on fire. And
Again?
then- no, that was
That was-
Oh, okay.
that was the
it.
time.
Oh,
That
okay.
it.
I was like, bro.
And I already had the S14 shell because I wanting to build it eventually, and then it caught on fire. And I was like, I'm not gonna rebuild this car, or if I am, it's gonna take years. And I just sold to a buddy.
Yeah.
Built the S14 to go back to FD in 2020, and then the sky fell.
Okay.
Yeah.
The whole world is.
The whole world stopped.
Yep.
And then the S14 was amazing. Like it was, I ran the 4 double rounds of FD in 2020, and it was a blast. And then towards the end of the season, I learned that my fiance was pregnant. And
Oh, congratulations.
thank you very much. And I was like, all right, well, I remember standing on the bank at Irwindale, and I was like, this is probably the last time I'm going to be here,
Ooh.
Yeah.
which is cool, but for a good reason, right?
I like that you just said I was standing there on the bank because you probably knew exactly right then and there like that was your time of epiphany for yourself.
That was it.
That
Right?
was- God
And
damn.
that was so Friday we ran because of COVID. They ran Friday competition, no qualifying. Sunday competition, no qualifying, and Saturday was. People asked them to do that because so many people crash at Irwindale. Everybody wanted a rebuild day. Friday behind Die, I touched the wall with the back end. All the power cut out of the car. Slammed the front end. Shock tower touched the turbo. Like car fucked,
Jesus.
right? And so we were, it got towed off, cars destroyed, and floor pans buckled, all that kind of stuff. And took a few hours to think about it. Like one, I was I just got punched in the face by a wall.
Yeah.
And this is back to the Instagram thing. So there are a lot of bad things about social media and Instagram. One of the amazing things is that 6 a.m. Saturday, right? We have the day off. I say, anybody know a frame rack?
Oh, I love Instagram for
Right?
this. The community can just come together.
Boom.
If somebody sees it, they're like, yo, don't you have this? So somebody who doesn't even have you on
Right.
Instagram.
You're gonna tell me you straightened that frame out?
And competed on Sunday.
Oh my god.
That's the same car this weekend.
That's amazing.
Here's what's crazy, Frankie, is there is another video where the same thing happened, but in the video you said it was an hour and a half. It was on I forget what track it was, but you were still in your S14, still the chrome wheels, and you were on the bank, and in the video,
Oh, I think I saw that.
Faruk said, I wanted to enter a little later,
Yeah.
and the wall came up fast.
Yeah.
And like same kind of hit back to front, but then I literally was watching this at my desk earlier, and I was literally like so invested I wasn't looking around anymore. I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah,
because
I saw that video
you
too.
said an hour and a half.
Yep.
There was a time limit
Yeah.
where
we
you
had to
knew
start-
you had to get
Oh, yeah,
back
then
on
you
Yeah,
fixed
we
track.
had to start qualifying.
And
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Wise Fab knuckle. It's fucked.
Yep.
And I'm like, what the fuck? And then there it is. Cinderella story. Like, yeah, we got it. Drivable.
Yeah, the alignment's
enough.
not perfect, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's good.
goes and competes. He's like, we needed to make top 4. Boom, we're in top 4.
I saw them cutting something on that video. Did you cut the knuckle
We cut the
to
knuckle off,
straighten it and then weld it back on?
So
or
we
something?
had another knuckle. We cut the knuckle off to save the toe arm. And then,
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. It was
dude.
gnarly. And
You
then
gotta-
they actually swapped the front subframe. So I think they put a 2x4. Limitless Motorsports.
Yeah.
Alex at Limitless Motorsports. They put a 2x4. Raj just strapped the motor up, changed the subframe, put the subframe on.
Drop the motor back
Yeah.
on the
God,
subframe.
dude. Yeah. I mean, my favorite part of Formula Drift is watching the 5-minute or whatever
Dude,
it
it's
is.
gnarly.
15, 5 minutes. I don't know.
You
what
want
it
to
is.
see what's possible in 5 minutes? Look
Yeah.
at Vaughn's team.
Yeah.
They do wild.
Like if I'm watching and I hear like, oh, they got 15 minutes to fit, I'm gonna just go run down there and watch
And
that.
just show that to like the dude that doesn't want to do like the brakes on his 240. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
yeah.
It's
and he's got a weekend to do it.
Dude, no. Yeah, the anxiety there. Oh my God.
But honestly, that's the beauty of the sport, right?
Yeah,
Because, like,
dude. That's
it's
the shit
same
that people have been
cars.
training for.
Yeah.
They're like, here we go. Like, got all the tools out exactly where you need it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's probably fucking crazy.
And then like I see it happen with the pros too. Like some people they'll grab parts from other teams,
Yep.
this and that. Yeah. Drifting is very
Yeah,
different.
We were handing out tie rods like candy last time.
What is it? If I don't even know if you can really sum it up, but if you could, like, what's it like to run a team or be a part of a team that has to function that way? What if somebody is like a little slow like that day, like, or somebody showed up to work like hungover as fuck?
So
like you gotta be like, hey man,
So this is the thing about this year, which is a little different than previous years, right? Like 2020, I put a lot of pressure on myself. I was like,
yeah,
I'm going to go out there and, whatever personal goals I have, like podium, whatever it is, the car is amazing, all the above. And then this year it's a little different. I have a crew that's like, we're all just homies.
oh hell yeah,
We all just like really enjoy it. And I learned something from some neighbors at the track where it's, they race vintage cars, right? So they have these old F1 cars, even like F1 cars, old Porsches, like from Le Mans, that kind of stuff from like the 60s and 70s. And I was like, "Did you guys win?" Like I walked up to him after, like they were doing a track there, one of their old races, and I was like, "Did you guys win?" They campaign a bunch of the cars. He's like, "It's not about winning, man. It's about personal best." I was like, "That's a fucking interesting way to look at this."
Yeah.
And as long as I feel I'm progressing, I don't give a shit.
yeah,
Right. I'm having a blast. I'm around people that I really enjoy, and the minutia of the engineering, the driving, the getting smoother, better, all the above is like my journey to pro was weird and wonky and all the above. I'm saying this. I stepped back to pro spec because it makes sense, and also I took 2 years off. I took originally 1 year off in 21. I was like, I gotta have this kid. Let me figure my life out. I found an amazing job and just my life took a different direction. The kid's amazing. So I was like, I got to take 2 years off. I asked them, hey, can I come back in 20, I don't remember what year, but either 23 or 22, I asked them, hey, can I come back? And they're like, the pro license don't work that way anymore. I was like, all right, well, I actually want to come back for pro spec. And then they're like, yeah, that sounds good. Let's do that.
Huh.
And
Can you give us some insight on how like that works?
yeah. How does that work? You
don't-
get a
I don't-
license or something?
totally no.
Well, I
So-
know you probably got a license through a Pro-Am comp or something like that.
So the video you saw, that was Golden Gate Drift in 2014.
Okay.
Right. So I was top 3 in that. It's changed a lot over the years, and they all honestly, FD's pretty vocal about how it's morphed. Right. It's not always been the same. There's shootouts. There hasn't been shootouts. Mine was a 4-round series. I did two 4-round series in 2014. I did Vegas Drift, and I did Vegas was 5 rounds. Golden Gate Drift was 4 rounds. I was actually spotting for Kenny Moen, and so I missed one of the rounds of Vegas. So I dropped down to like 10th place or whatever. And then Golden Gate Drift, I had to get top 4 in order to get into the top 3 to get to get a license. And I ended up finishing 2nd, right, in the series. And so that got me my Pro 2 license back then. And then Pro 2 back then, you had to be top 6 or top 8. I can't remember what it was. And then that would get you into Pro 1. I think it was top 6. And that got me into Pro 1.
Now, they can only have a certain amount of drivers, right?
Yep.
So
that's changed a lot. When I was in Pro 2, Orlando was my first round. I want to say there was like 50 drivers my first round.
Okay.
And that's, I mean, a lot of it is space, right? Like tracks don't have the space. And so when they were talking even about like how many Pro Spec drivers can come in this year, it was a big concern of like, if they go back to Orlando, there's not enough space.
Okay.
Or if they go into Atlanta, there's a lot more pit space because you got to put people's rigs somewhere.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things.
Yeah, I was just wondering because you said what was it, top 8, top 6 out of Pro 2 would get their.
Back in the day. Now it's top 3, I think.
Okay, so they just shorten the amount of people that can get passed through.
Yep.
I feel like it makes it like it puts a more like challenge. Like it's like now you're like fuck.
Absolutely.
3.
I mean, back in the day, people. I mean, so there's still a petition. So technically, I petitioned to get back into Pro 2 or what we're calling Pro Spec. I'm technically a Pro Spec rookie.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
It's just fun.
Rookie.
Yeah. So once I lost my Pro 1 license because I was gone for 2 years.
So did they just kind of make that up, or was it like were there rules like if you're gone for a year you can't come back if you don't do it consecutively?
You used to be able to take a year off, right?
Okay.
But as the series changes, and I don't work for FD. I mean, I don't really know how this works, and I think people are they're figuring it out as they go, and they're pretty open about it. Like, as how does this say? As unattainable as FD seems, as far as like communication goes, they're pretty rad at like Ryan loves the sport and loves to see the future of the sport from the grassroots to the pro, and it's talking to them more over the past couple of years. Even as a driver, it felt a little unattainable before, like as far as like communicating and understanding what the purpose was of the whole series and that kind of stuff. And they just care. Like they're different. Sometimes it's not very clear, but they really do care about like the drivers and the future of the sport and competition.
Okay.
I feel like would you say back then, because there's this old Formula D video on YouTube as well.
Okay.
YouTube is like my main tool to find this shit.
Nice.
But there's this old Formula Drift video, and it's my favorite thing to watch because I'm talking like Ken Gushi's driving a Mustang.
Yeah.
Yep. And Reese Millen had a no.
I remember the
GTO.
Hyundai.
Yes, the GTO. Because
a-
my buddy Yamboy.
That's
What
one
up,
of the
Yamboy?
looking GTOs ever.
I love that jet. It's the only reason why I knew what. And then the GTO made an appearance on like a Need for Speed game too.
Yep.
But I knew it because I saw Reese Millen's car, and it was a toy. I didn't even know what Formula Drift was back then. And then like Papadakis had like a fucking S2000.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's sick.
The maroon S2000.
And it's my favorite video because I feel like no one really knew what the fuck was going on. What the fuck is an S2000 doing out there?
But you
Like-
think about it, like 04, that sport didn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. You're you're talking about like NASCAR in like the 1940s or whenever people when did it start? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or,
who knows? But yeah.
you know what I'm talking
I
about?
know what you're saying.
Or like NHRA back in
Where it
like
became,
the 60s
like,
and 70s. Or
official.
like no one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone's like, "Hey, Bob, go do this," and they're like, "All right, I'll go do that." You know, like
Yeah.
And
But the question I had was gearing towards like, what was the field like back then when you first started?
in 2014,
Yeah, because you had a
15?
JZ. So were cars still like sub 7, or were they already making 1,000 horsepower?
So in 2016, oh no, this is a good story, right? Okay, so my mom's Polish, right?
Okay.
And my mom's an amazing human, very super smart, and like she's an architect by trade, but also like no BS. Like she doesn't know how to lie. Like she will not lie by omission.
That's
right?
awesome.
Like she's one of those people.
Yeah.
And
She sounds awesome.
she's well, yeah, but also like it's. Let me give you an example. I won round 2 of Pro-Am in 2014 at Golden Gate Drift. I'm pumped, right? I'm like super stoked, right? Like had a great round. Things were breaking, but we got through it, and like I won. And so I call her up. I'm like, "Mom, I won." And she's like, "All right, you gonna win the next one?" First things out of her mouth. Like
That sounds like some shit my mom would say.
Yeah, it's like why are you so happy? Like good job, go home. You know, like get ready for the next one.
That's like getting an okay text back.
Yeah, yeah, or KK, right? Yeah, right. And so in 2015, when I was in Pro 2, back to your power level question.
Okay.
There's a guy named Alex Helbrin, right? And this guy was awesome dude from Peru. He actually was in Pro-Am with me, and he was competing in Pro 2. They built an E46, 1,400 horsepower, and he would launch in fourth gear and just roll into it and just be in one gear the whole fucking time.
Oh my God.
Right? And so I was so stoked when we broke 700 horsepower. We made I think we made 740 in my JZ in Pro 2. And I was like, I'm like stoked, right? We're like, we made power, like it's a big power car now. And I line up with him, and I think it was Seattle. We lined up, and we were just not competing.
Well, he was in fourth gear the whole time.
We were just not competing with each other. And I call my mom afterwards, and we're chatting, and she's like, "Yeah, so you just need more power, right?" I mean, and I felt so good that I had that amount of power, and like. My dreams are just taking this, like we just squeeze some reality out of your dreams real quick.
She's like, just up the power, you little fucker.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why can't just go like this? Like, but it was.
Damn, Faruk said he got squeezed. Jesus.
Yo, so didn't Daigo start that whole horsepower thing?
I don't know. Yeah, that maybe
I
right.
think that was, but I don't know when he.
What car was
He was
that?
2013
That
in
fucking
that
SC.
yeah
whatever?
SC 300
Yeah.
or SC 430.
I think he's the one that came here and changed everything.
Yeah,
because then
probably.
everyone was like, "Oh, now we need 1,000 horsepower."
Well, as Americans, we love big power.
Yeah, but it was a
Yeah.
Japanese dude that came here
Yeah,
and got
right?
everyone to do it.
I know, but then they were probably like, "Oh shit,
Yeah, hold my beer.
yeah."
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, and those tires that I was on back then too. Like the tire game was different. Like Achilles tires. So
Yeah.
yeah, we can say it. I don't. We're fine.
You were
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Achilles back then?
I was running Achilles back
Yeah,
then. In Pro-Am, I was spotting for Kenny Moen, and my buddy was running in Pro. He was going back to Cali every round for some reason, or every 2 rounds, and I would essentially pay him to load Daigo takeoffs in his trailer and then take them back to Cali with me. So I like my whole Pro-Am, I was running Daigo takeoffs.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I was measuring the tread depth and then matching them. I was riding on the sidewalls, and then so I just have matching pairs, and like
Dude,
if I had like
This is the shit I like.
Yeah,
this is the
that's
shit
a cool
I like.
story.
That's the shit I like because it's like,
That's
okay,
like that low budget.
It's not necessarily
thing.
cutting a corner, but it's
You just
like,
gotta be
let
smart
me
with
use
whatever
my
you do.
resources a little good
So,
better here.
The first time I drove that car, you can. It's called. I called the car Raised Till. So that was the name of the car, Raised Till, in 2013.
Yes,
Is
I saw. I was wondering what that was because all the videos said RAZE
Till.
Till.
Yeah. So
And I was
it's-
like, what the hell?
It's kind of dumb, but it came from a poem I wrote, and it's like raise. It means like to decimate and destroy. So raise until. That's
I fuck with it.
yeah.
We got to hear some poetry, Lane.
Lived many lives. That's not. Yeah.
Next thing you know, I actually rap now instead.
But anyway, so the first time I drove that car, it was a 2-day event, the Winter Jam 2013, and we were on the dyno on Saturday, and I didn't have a trailer, so I called AAA, and I was like, hey, I got to tow this to Sonoma, and I don't know why that guy loaded it, because like if you try to tow a modified car now, they don't take it, but the guy loaded it on and took it to Sonoma for me, dropped it off, and I followed him with my Prius. I drive a Prius, by the way.
Hell yeah, another Toyota.
And I had no exit strategy. I had no way to get home from there. I had 3 sets of tires, and I was running ethanol, and I didn't realize how much more ethanol they consume rather than one. And so I lost. I got to top 4, and I lost the first time I ever drove that car in top 4 because it was cutting out. And I was like, oh, I fucked up the car. It was just out of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew what you were about to say.
Well, I got no gas. in
Yeah,
it.
motherfucker. Yeah, I knew it. I heard you already start to go. But the there's beers left?
Yeah, Chris.
You didn't offer,
Chris walks in with a beer.
Oh damn. Okay, but
Michelob Ultra.
the
You want me to get beers?
no, it's good. Unless you would like a beer.
I'll drink a beer.
Malcolm will join.
No. You drink your beer, man. I'm not gonna take
No,
your
we
beer.
gotta get more.
No, it's okay.
All right.
Just drink that one before you get behind the wheel. Hurry up.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
But yes, we don't do that here.
Dude, I mean,
It's-
I like talking to people that don't have a lot of sponsorships. Like that. That
No,
shit's
yeah, it's-
crazy. to me.
That's changed in the past couple of years, and I've gotten really
now-
lucky. Yeah, it just takes work.
You
right?
fucking triple A'd a car to a comp.
yeah, that was pretty fun. And so the best part is I made a friend that day with so my buddy, right? His dad was camping in the pit area, and I didn't really know what to do, right? So I was there with a car, I had the fuel jug, had a few tires, and I was like, sick. I don't really know what else to do. So I was like, I asked the guy next to me, I was like, hey, can you just look after the car overnight because you're camping here? He's like, yeah, sure. And so I just went home, came back in the morning, and the car was still there, which is nice.
Oh,
and
good.
yeah, after the event, I was like, all right, now I got to call AAA, I guess, and get this thing home. And then the guy that I actually beat in top 4 or top 8, he towed me home.
Oh my god.
So it was I don't know.
All right.
It was
Yeah.
it just drifting community is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's
I feel like especially so what year was that one?
13.
13. So from then until now, I feel like back then it was a lot smaller circles,
Was
like
it?
the
Yeah.
like the people you met there were you only talked to them there.
Interesting.
You weren't like hitting them up in the DMs or like liking their stories because you saw they finished their car. Like you run into them at the next one.
Yep.
But then from 13 to right now, I feel like it just whoop. Now
No.
you could talk to them on the toilet if you wanted to, which I do with
make,
Chris all
like-
the time.
I mean, you have friends that you've never met, right? That
Yeah.
you know through the internet, which is a phenomenon that's
That
interesting.
that is an interesting one because
Yep.
that's been happening to me. I'm the worst young person ever.
But even like competitors too. Like you might not even like back then. I feel like you might not even know anything about the people you're going to verse. But now it's like you could literally do a background search on all of them.
You just did that to me, right?
Yeah, I did.
pretty much.
I watched all the. I was watching YouTube videos. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you can get all the inside information right from Instagram. So that's kind of different too, I guess. But I mean, you lived through it. We didn't live through it. We weren't doing
I also
any comps.
didn't know that AAA will not tow a modified car.
No, or if it doesn't have a plate or current reg.
Yeah, that I know.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
well, yeah, that one kind of makes sense because then you could just be like, damn, that 2020 Porsche 911 over there is looking kind of. Hey, do you mind towing that to my house?
Yeah, it broke. Imagine. I don't have the keys either, but
But okay, but they ended up.
Yeah.
You ended up making a friend. That's a
Yeah.
W in my book.
So I mean, it's been a little bit wild, but yeah. So going back this year, dude, it's pro spec is pretty wild now.
yeah.
Those dudes are fun. Like it's a lot of good driving, and it's I personally like the fact it's definitely more expensive than pro,
Really?
which is wild, right? Like so that's one thing I didn't expect because you can't have a tire sponsor,
Oh.
or there's no reason to, right? Because everyone's on GT radials,
Oh yeah, because they're supplying or they make you get those tires or something.
mandated tire. So
Mandated
everyone
tire.
everyone has the same tire, which is awesome for traction and for car speed and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah.
I
But-
actually never even knew that.
Yeah, so you have to buy the tire,
Yeah, but it is a specified brand model.
one size. Everybody has to run one size,
and they're probably-
you can run a different front.
Probably giving you good prices on them.
Yeah, yeah, great price. But I mean, well, yeah,
It's all relative,
it's
but
all relative. You buy 30 of them, so it's
they're no Daigo takeoffs, but
there are no Daigo takeoffs. And then so yeah. Anyway, so when I went to Pro 2, they started drilling them.
oh yeah,
And then we started plugging them. So I got really good at plugging sidewalls. But yeah,
That's fucking good, man.
so it was pretty fun.
You're making me excited for FD this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm usually not into any
I'm
of
It's
that
sad.
stuff, but
So I've got like
yo,
we're-
first of all, you can't be saying that. English town.
Because Frankie's gonna have to sit outside.
English town. You,
really what?
English town. You can't say the word R because it's like
It will happen or it won't
yeah,
happen?
yeah. If you say it, it's
Well-
fucked. It's gonna happen.
Oh, okay,
If
so
you
just-
don't talk about it,
Just
you have a pretty good chance. And you kind of blew it already, but we'll.
yeah, all right. We'll
Mulligan.
take it back. We'll
Yeah, yeah.
We'll rewind the live.
Yeah.
Mulligan.
Yeah.
You get everybody gets one.
It's like 30-second live, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That's just like a club loose thing, but
That's
I
funny.
mean, it's
All right.
you know, I guess it
I'm from
rolls.
California. It doesn't count. Yeah.
It rolls over into Formula Drift now that it's at English Town. So
Well, right now in California, I feel like it'd be good terrain over there right now.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
probably.
fill up some of them reservoirs.
that place is dry as hell.
No, California this year we got nuts. So they
Oh, you
we
got a
had
bunch of rain?
Oh yeah,
huge
because
amounts
you
of
had like
rains. Yeah.
landslides and everything.
Yep. So all the reservoirs are full. Like now,
Oh,
there's so
word.
much water that we can't do anything with it. It's the opposite. It's
What?
pretty funny.
I went to California once
Wow.
as a kid. Kid. I was probably, yeah, I would call that a kid. Probably like 19 years old. And I looked out and like you can see where the water was. I forget where the fuck I was, but yeah, the water was so low, and I was like, fuck.
Oh, one of the
Yeah.
reservoirs. Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
And then you have all those rivers that have like no water.
No
in them.
water in it. And I was
Yeah.
like, damn, that looks kind of sad.
Yeah.
You ever see a flash flood before?
No, I don't
That-
think I've ever
I feel
experienced
no,
that.
because like I swear to you, in like the woods and shit, that shit will
Well,
just come running
Dude,
down.
literally where was I even?
Dude, you're the one who was there.
Sequoia National Park area.
Fuck you, by the way.
So that area.
Hold on.
Wait,
Stop.
fuck you to Sequoia National Park or
Stop.
to Frankie?
No,
No.
he loves
Okay.
Toyota.
When we were in
Sequoias.
California,
Gotcha,
I
okay.
said, Frankie, I want to go to Sequoia National Park. And then he was like, why? And I was like, it's called fucking
Oh,
Sequoia.
for the car.
Yeah, that's why I
Okay.
like it. Like,
Well,
and-
just to tell you, Carl, there were a lot of Toyota Sequoias driving around in there.
oh, I wonder
Kind of
fucking
weird.
why.
Yeah.
I wonder why. That's where they're bred. That's where they're made.
That's where they have a factory in the park.
The trees just shit them out.
Well, no, I saw Johnny post. First of all, I wouldn't have even known that Frankie was there unless I saw my other friend's story who actually posts a story when they're there, and he posted it. And there's a picture of I know what a sequoia tree looks like.
It's
They're
big, dude.
massive, because it's a fucking good massive truck.
Well, you guys got redwoods up there,
Yep.
right? So you guys have
I think
those.
we have
Oh,
sequoias
that's-
too. I don't. I
You
mean,
probably
I'm not a big
do.
tree guy.
Yeah.
Not
Not,
that
I don't really know a lot about trees.
Well, after
but-
this weekend, I'm a big tree guy, so
Nice.
I could tell you.
Solid.
You probably do have some sequoias up there, but I think there's more redwoods. But redwoods, I think, are taller ones.
Are they?
Yeah,
But
the
sequoias are
They
girthy.
got that girth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm driving to this wedding, and I'm like, of course, I took the long route because I want to see,
The sequoias.
sequoias and
Yep.
everything. So, dude, the roads, man. Oh my god,
Pretty incredible.
amazing. But anyway, so I'm
What
going.
car were you in? Was it?
was in-
Was it a
oh.
Colorado?
Yeah, Colorado. I went to get a Toyota Tacoma, just so you know, and they gave me that.
Those fucking bastards.
Yeah.
If I saw you whipping a Toyota,
That's what I was. Yeah.
not on my watch, I would be fucking
So anyway,
peed.
I'm driving through and I see a road closed sign. I'm like, fuck, dude. I know I'm gonna have to double back like 2 hours if this doesn't work. So
Oh, wait,
like,
you were on the one?
no.
Okay.
No, I was Sequoia National Park,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
yep.
Not like the main park area, but a little south of that. And road closed. I was like, fuck, dude. Now I'm starting to panic because there's like 2 hours to the wedding. And I'm like, I might literally miss this wedding. Some dumb shit I would do. And then I see a car come by me. Fucking blows right through the road close sign. I was like, I mean, if they're doing it,
Yep,
I
I'm doing
guess
that.
I guess it's just a suggestion. So I go, I'm following them, just driving along. Of course, no guardrails, opens up into a big valley, just super dangerous road.
Oh, this sounds so good.
And then just driving around, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of dirt on the road. Just like random little like piles of mud and shit. I'm like going over it, and I'm like, what are those cones for over there? And you start seeing cones lining the side of the road, and like the road's falling apart. And I'm like, oh, okay. But the guy in front of me is just like, dodging the shit and drive. I was like, oh, I mean, this must be a regular thing. And then we get to one spot, and the guy slows down, like to a stop. And I'm looking over. I'm like, why is he stopped? I was like, oh my god, fucking 75% of the road is gone. It just fell into the cliff. And there's like 2 cones.
Nice.
And I'm like, is this dude really gonna go around this shit right now? He just takes a moment, drives right around it. I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm driving around it. Dude, that shit was scary, man. So anyway, get around that. There's a boulder in the
Wait,
road.
the picture you sent us?
Yeah, remember that?
You drove through that?
Yeah. Oh, but it gets better. So
That's fucking awesome.
It actually
Good for
doesn't-
you,
it
Frankie.
doesn't
I
get-
love that.
It doesn't get much better than that, but dude, there's boulders in the road, like barely fitting in between the wall and. So anyway, we go
Right.
down a little bit, and then there's like 3 guys on quads, like outside of a house or something, and they tell me to stop, and I pull up. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, can't go that way. I'm like, why? He's like, there's no road left. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I mean, there's no road left. Like, you cannot get over it.
There's no 25%.
Yeah, it's just it's a cliff. I was like, fuck, man. I was like, how do I get to Springville or wherever the hell I was going? And he's like, yeah, you got to double back all the way. It's gonna be like 2.5 hours. I was like, dude.
you
So
make
anyway,
it?
I made it. I made it to the wedding. I drove that shit like a Togay after that, and just, dude, it was a little sketchy, but.
That's a perfect place to take a rental.
But anyway, the whole point of that story was I got to see the landslide situation out there. And I was
Yep.
like, dude, that shit is crazy, man.
Yeah,
So-
they got so much rain, or we got so much rain at the beginning of the year. Just snow, rain, everything. Now everything's melting, so all the reservoirs are full. Everything's like,
Yeah.
it's
All is well.
It's
Well,
beautiful. It's beautiful,
yeah,
but
a little too much water almost. So,
Yeah.
yeah, too much water. That's crazy.
Kind of wild. Yeah.
Drink it. Too easy.
Too easy.
Damn. So you're still currently in the Bay Area?
Yep. So we moved to the East Bay. So
Okay.
yeah, 2019 got a place out there, and yeah, cool place to raise a kid. It's kind
Yeah.
of fun. And then the shop is up in Sonoma, and it's cool that you guys have Hunter stuff because I actually work for Hunter as well.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What?
Yeah, so that's the day job is Hunter, and then I've got a great dude Victor that runs the shop, and yeah, and then also do Sonoma Drift, and yeah.
Oh, that's
Can you
awesome.
can you talk more about the shop
Yeah,
at the
we-
track? Where
yeah.
the fuck did that come
This
from?
shop is sick.
Yeah, so it's a we actually try to focus on suspension as well. We do a build or two here or there, and it's not a huge shop, but it's
I mean, it's at the track. I think that's
it's
kind of
pretty-
cool.
It's
Yeah.
pretty rad, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was telling him earlier, like I drove by Willow Springs on the way there, and they had tons of shops like on the premises.
Yep.
And then hearing about this, I was like, oh, this might just be a thing that's like not.
yeah, there's like 100 shops at the racetrack.
So what? How does that work? They rent the space.
Yeah, they rent the space. We're just a landlord.
And then there's
Yes.
just like a.
It's
Here
kind
you
of
go.
sick.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
fuck.
You
it.
Because
just
it's like, yeah, you want to
Drive
test your
down the
car
hill
out?
and you're on the track.
Yeah.
It's like the bougier version of the trenches in New York.
What is that?
The muffler shop street.
Oh, okay.
Where? Corona, Queens. Yes.
But there's no track.
I should, dude. I mean, there's kind of a track. The Cross Bronx Expressway.
yeah.
That's an awesome analogy. But yeah.
Yeah.
But-
it's exactly the same
Yes.
thing. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing.
You got your regular clients.
Yeah.
But that's good. So what do like?
Imagine though
You
being on
probably
the
see the
track.
coolest stuff there
Oh,
too,
they're
though. Like,
rad cars.
like-
yeah.
You're on
Our
the track,
neighbor-
you're like, I need an alignment, and then you just,
yeah,
oh, there you
right
go.
There, yeah.
yeah,
So-
go see Faruk down there.
And
Yeah.
we sell Enos, and like it's a cool place to just have a home base. We're very lucky. Let's put it that way.
How long have you been doing that?
I've had my own shop since 2000. Actually, October 15th, 2020 is when I opened my own shop. So I was
Okay.
partnered at another shop before, and then he no longer wanted to do like retail stuff. He just wanted to race, and so you might have seen SGK on the side. That was me and them together, or him together, and then after that, he just wanted to do racing by himself, and then I opened Dev Speed. So yeah,
That's cool, man.
Damn. Yeah,
Yeah.
shop at the track is just that's got to be like a pipe dream.
Yeah, it's
For
like
some,
it's
like-
like next level.
What the fuck?
it's pretty incredible, and it gives us an opportunity to really like I don't know. You can test and develop, and then bring the car back up,
Yeah.
adjust something.
I mean,
It's really good.
What did you technically say? Chris has that set up
Chris himself, yeah.
when
he
you were
has
at
it.
Englishtown. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that
Chris Knapp.
garage was fairly
Oh, yeah.
new that they put
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah,
I
that
think
shop is amazing.
that thing is cool. I love
Plus,
it there.
Chris is like one of the nicer like track dudes
yeah.
I've ever met. Like,
Yeah,
that-
100%.
Oh, Nat, Chris
Yeah.
Nat. Oh, dude, nice smile. If you get him to smile real hard, like he's got the nicest smile. Hi, Chris. I love you.
His dad's awesome too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole family is amazing.
And what they do out there for drifters is just incredible.
Oh yeah. It's like turning into an Ebisu.
Yep.
Like slowly but surely.
Yep.
Like more cool stuff for drifters every year.
Have you ever driven the road course there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my they shit on me for this because I don't go there enough because it's very close to my house, like 45 minutes away from the house. But I go to like every other track,
That's funny.
like within our area.
Yeah.
yeah, that. the
And I
road
went there
courses-
recently and I was like, damn, I forgot how fucking lit this was.
Yeah,
dude. When you enter on the backside and go over the blind crest, like,
Yeah.
that's like. So
Wow. Wait, so you're saying you like backtrack the most? Is that what you're saying? That back section? Would you say you like that more than the front?
So that's backtrack, and then the front with
So
the
you-
wall is the front track.
yeah.
So I'll tell you how I drove it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So
Okay.
I did Pro Bro Down in 2000.
Yeah, you're
19?
you're probably doing full course.
If you look up there, there's actually a map of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we?
Yeah,
Yep,
Uh,
that's tree right there, and that's okay. So you go this way, right, and you initiate right before the kink.
Yeah.
Go over the blind crest. You come back. You do that like triangle.
Oh,
That's
you're
missing
talking.
piece, and
Yeah.
then you go back against the wall, and then you link.
And then that
to
turn.
Tree.
Yep.
And
Okay.
Then you do the back section. Then you try to get as much speed, and then
Yep.
you do it all again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
okay. I
so
thought
wait-
there's a second crest on the back course that I thought.
Oh.
Yeah, no, we're talking about the one in the back where
Yeah, that's
on
okay.
that you'd be going around, and then right when you get to the
Yeah,
top,
yep.
you kind of can't see anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
But actually, turn 1, 2 on the front course is also kind of blind, which I never
really thought about
I
it like that.
also never really thought about that.
Yeah.
When
It
you
is.
don't know where you're going, it's blind.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
I don't ever know what I'm doing. I get.
I did-
I tell
Yeah.
people that all the time. I'm like, dude, I go and I'll think of what I want to do, and then I'll just come.
So funny
Blackout.
story about the way I met Chris was I did Pro Bro Down.
Yeah.
And I was on a show on Netflix called Hyperdrive. You ever watch that thing?
Oh, just casually, just on one of the
You know,
mainstream.
it's funny. I forgot to
subscription
bring that
networks.
up. I read that earlier.
It was a silly
You
show.
used
but
the BMW,
I
didn't
did.
you?
Yep.
Yeah, because
It
that's the
also
video.
broke all the freaking time.
That's the video I saw. It was
Yeah.
like, oh,
I never saw this show, but now I want to watch it.
It's fun. Yeah, it's like American Ninja Warrior and drifting mixed together.
Okay.
It was a cool concept. They
A lot of people watch that because you know a lot of people watched it when somebody in the office is like, oh, like that show Hyperdrive.
Oh,
And I'm like,
when you compare
What?
drifting to hyperdrive as a reference, you're like, what?
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell is
Yeah.
that? And yeah, I
But it
totally
introduced
just
people to the sport, which is cool.
that's sick.
And so after that, they called me because they knew I did all the track stuff at Snowman and everything. So they called me and they're like, hey, do you know anyone on the East Coast we could do like a press day? And I was like, I've heard, I mean, I drove Pro Road down and that was an amazing track. And I've heard that the organizer's cool. Let me try to get their number. And I called Chris and I was like, hey, these dudes want to rent the track for a media day. And he was like, yep, no problem. And like, did the whole thing. And I towed my car out from Cali to here and it didn't work. Like I did one run because I didn't know at the time.
Oh, pain.
It was so bad.
Pain,
like, it was so
dude.
bad. The fuel pump relay was like going bad and it was intermittent. And we were trying to figure out, we were like, oh, that's fuel pressure. And then like, no, it doesn't have fuel pressure. And then it was really
Oh,
bad.
pain, dude.
And trying to do that while like being on camera and like, hey, nothing's wrong. Like,
Don't
we're
look
good.
at me like that again.
Yeah.
That was scary. Oh yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh my god, fuck.
So
What's that like? What, like having a big production like in your face like that? Not like a sports type of production where it's like broadcasted, but like a.
Yeah, that's like
Would
a
you
real
call that a
TV
game
production.
show? Would you call it a game show?
So we talked about different lives. How far down the rabbit hole do you want to go?
Let's go,
dude. We talked about
Alright.
aliens on here a lot.
So my first paid job, I was 9 years old and I danced on a Broadway production that was on in San Francisco, and then I sung in the White House in high school. So that was like very different life, right? Very very different life. Obviously,
Well, I'm sorry. What
it
you,
looked like
you,
this
you
also.
wait? What you sung at the White House?
Yep. In freshman year in high school, at a choir, not like just me singing. By
Oh, I
myself.
thought it was just
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I thought it was just
And
you in the
now
Oval Office.
Faruk.
was not a solo act. It was
Yeah.
like it was, a chorus. And it was, but that was a different childhood life. That was like, that's
I
so
seen that.
being in front of people and cameras and that kind of stuff was from an
Normal.
early age.
Yeah,
was
you're
very-
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Damn. Now I feel like an idiot for asking you. Hey, do you mind if we do this live? Or you?
Oh yeah.
Frankie asked that
Yeah.
earlier.
I was like, "Do you want to do this live or you?" He's like,
You idiot,
Why,
we
why
have
would
a-
it matter?" I'm like, "Okay."
We have a professional.
No.
Yeah.
So, anyways, but the show was crazy because it filmed at night. So they'd start production at 6 p.m. and end at 6 a.m.
Oh.
And so everyone was just always tired.
Yeah.
And like it was dark, and no one knew what was like where to go, what was going on, and it was very well organized. It was an amazing production. But it was no one had any idea what was going on.
When I watch Netflix TV, I feel like their production is always like the quality is always pretty good.
pretty
So I'm
good,
pretty
yeah.
happy to hear that. Like
Yeah.
they didn't abuse you.
I
Like,
just hear
like,
crazy
now
shit
get
about.
to driving. Like
I just hear crazy shit about television production and movies and shit. It's literally like torturous. The
It's a-
things I hear.
see, that's what I was. Thank God that
yeah.
it didn't happen to you.
I mean, we would end filming at 6 a.m. and then if the car broke, that's when you start working on the car.
And then imagine having to deal with a car that can break at any moment. Like, dude, that sounds like a nightmare.
Was Hyperdrive the one with T-Pain's car that was piloted
Yeah,
by
wasn't-
somebody
No, that
else?
was another show I was on. That
wait. You were on
You're at
another
multiple
show?
Yeah,
TV shows?
that was what the fuck was that one called? Getaway Driver. That was on Discovery Channel, and that was
All right, let's pause. How many shows were you on?
just two.
Okay. All right, now we got
It's not
that
like a
taken
thing,
care of.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to be like,
we
yeah,
just
so
got
Fast
lucky
and Furious
that
10.
we just got lucky that we touched base on the second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think
he's
we
not
can-
a full-blown TV star yet.
No,
You think we can get you in the next Fast and Furious?
Let's do it, bro.
Dude, that would be
Yeah.
sick.
Yo, you would
pitch it. I'll do it.
fight Dwayne Johnson or I
Yeah,
don't
you
even know
gotta
who's in
fight
the
The
movies
Rock.
anymore.
Right? Just
Yeah.
arm wrestle with Dwayne Johnson. Yeah. Just be like,
So what was that show like?
Wait, Getaway Drive.
that was a complete shit show. That was like full blown, not professional. Like,
Okay.
they said, hey, you might have like light scratch. You should watch it. Just
Wait. Pause. So Netflix was the other show,
Yep.
and Discovery Channel.
Yep.
How long have they been in business? Probably fucking 40 years. And that was a shit show.
But I think it was like a third party person that sold
A
that
different
show.
production.
Yeah.
Okay.
but- so the production probably was good quality, but what we were told was going to happen was actually Lex was on that show. Lex
Oh, was
yeah,
he?
yeah. His
We
car
gotta watch
got
this shit.
his car got effed up. Like,
Oh, yeah?
Well, I mean, my car got effed up too.
Which
but
car
It
did he
seems
use?
like everyone's car got fucked on
He
that
used an
show.
FC.
He used
His
an
FC.
Yeah, his convertible FC. That is
Oh,
something
the one
yeah.
that his son pilots now.
His son's also an amazing driver.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah, his son's dope. Also, like, they're all just amazing humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As people, great. driver's great.
love that.
So they told us there was gonna be light rubbing. So
Rubbing?
Yeah, so like pit maneuvers. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Dude.
So what's the?
No, don't say it.
Like the first thing that they didn't show all the times they hit me because there were so many times that like like if you watch it and you pay attention, you're like, that potty panel was on the previous scene. Where is it now? Like there's so many things that
I think I saw the clip of T-Pain's car.
I'm sure that was on there too. Yeah.
That was
And yeah, I saw it like there. So basically, it's like a car's chasing you the whole time.
The premise is getaway. You're the getaway driver, right? So you're being chased by the cops. You got to get away from them, right?
My God, dude.
And so I brought an FD car, which I thought was a fucking great idea for some reason, and it was really really dumb actually. But the first thing he does, one of the cops is like they just T-bone me, which they told me like you cannot do that. And like I see him coming, I'm like, all right, he's not supposed to T-bone me. He's not gonna T-bone me. Maybe he'll hit my rear bumper. Just kabow! And it hits the rear wheel, bends the subframe, and like I just.
What did they think was going to happen?
I don't know.
What is
Like,
going on
why
right
do you
now?
not back off, right? Like you see the car, like that. Like they told us what they're not gonna do. They're like,
Malcolm, is there any way you could pull up, maybe check if there's a YouTube trailer of this thing?
I don't even know if you
it's
should
pretty-
because of.
Copyright.
Copyright?
Yeah.
I'll just talk poop about
Yeah,
it.
don't play
fuck, bring that
any
shit up.
volume. Don't play any volume. Just do like
Done that before.
10 seconds or something.
It still fucking got you.
It did? All
Yeah.
right, maybe not.
Yeah, whatever.
We're
We
trying to.
we don't need it.
You'll
You
watch
can-
on here.
We might
Yeah.
try to make it.
Watch it on
Check it
YouTube.
out. Look for Faruk on there. If you see his car get T-boned, DM it to me.
So this is why. So I heard about this from I think all those fucking T-Pain tweets that he put up. I think
Okay.
that one time.
I
Yes, I
watched-
did
I don't
stay
know
up
that
till
story. What
2 in the
happened there?
He got screwed over by a shop. Or
Wait,
something.
no, I watched the whole thing. So somebody was building T-Pain's car, the pickle rig, the green car.
Yep.
They were building it, and then T-Pain was like, "Where the hell is it? Like, what's taking so long?" And long story short, like maybe he was just giving him the runaround.
Typical weird shop owner giving him a runaround
but
for
then,
years and years.
But then T-Pain
Years
didn't,
and years.
Yes.
T-Pain didn't know that the car was on a TV show. The guy took it on the TV show.
He didn't know.
No.
Fuck. That's what
He did
happened?
not know.
No.
Dude, that is.
Are you sure that was how it went?
Yes,
That's like
dude.
next-
That's
like next-
crazy.
Chris, can you confirm? Like,
That's like next level.
I watched that.
How do you take somebody's car?
He probably did. You think he asked him about the show at least or something?
No, the thing was that he didn't know.
T-Pain was way too nice about this situation too.
Yeah, because on his story,
And all those
T-Pain.
I'm sorry. I'm
tweets.
just in like shock.
T-Pain was. I personally want to meet T-Pain one day because one, I bumped to his music my entire fucking life.
Yo, we gotta get him on the podcast,
Two,
man.
now he's a part of a.
He's a really nice guy.
Now he
He
has
is,
taken
yeah.
up a hobby that takes up my entire life.
Yeah.
So like I think it's awesome, and he's still doing a bunch of shit, and he's a very talented guy. Like
so-
a lot of people don't know he can sing without autotune. Like he's actually
Oh
has a
yeah,
nice voice.
yeah, yeah. He can do that.
He has a
apparently,
nice
yeah.
voice. Like,
Yeah.
but man, like the stories when he was explaining it, he would be like, he'd be calmly like, now this guy right here, like if you look at the text, he says he's gonna give it to me. Blah 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 blah, like explaining it calmly, and then at the end he'd be like, "But man, let me tell you, that's not how it fucking went." And
Yeah.
then you're
He's
like,
so
"Oh
funny.
shit!" And then he's like, "Stay tuned for the next one," and then next,
I stayed up till 2 in the morning watching those.
somebody
fucking videos.
compiled all of them
Yeah.
into one video in case you wanted to watch all of
But
them.
anyway, so he shows you like
God.
clips of the car in that video, and I didn't know what that was. It had to be the same show.
Yeah,
had-
no,
yeah.
that car was there.
They're going
Yeah,
through like
that was-
alleyways and shit.
We didn't. We were. It was also during COVID, so like we weren't even supposed to talk to each other.
Oh my god.
And it was like a.
And then-
Kelsey Rawlings was on the show. RJ from Big Duck Club, and that also does Hot Pit was there. That's actually. Anyways, we became friends kind of there. It was funny because we would like sneak down to the bar and have a beer and like
Yeah, yeah.
during COVID you're not supposed to have
Yeah.
It was the whole thing. Yeah.
But like that's where I saw it. Like I'm just watching the video of this car running away, and all of a sudden it gets slammed
By
by
Crown
a car.
Vic.
Dude, like
I'm like, what
they
is
were-
going on here?
So the best part is
I didn't know
so-
this was a separate show from my this whole time.
Neither did I.
So, kudos to FD cars, right, and how you build them. Both cop cars that were chasing me broke. That's how I got away. they just kept hitting me, and I was like, "I'm just gonna keep going," and they just kept. They broke. Both cars broke. I don't know what happened.
Okay,
to them.
but when you were driving it and you got T-boned, what was the first thing going through your mind?
Oh, they cut that part out. I got out of the car and started yelling at them.
Oh
Dude,
my
they cut
God,
that whole part out. So they T-boned me, and it was so hard. The car just like bloop, bloop, you know what I mean, like, bloop, bloop. And I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
I'm just
You know,
in
like,
shock because
I get out of the car, I'm like yelling at him, and I'm like, because everyone stops because I'm freaking out. Like, you
Yeah.
just T-bone my car at like 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, dude, that's bad.
And so like they're like, what do you want to do? I'm like, we're gonna keep going. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna
At that point, the car's fucked.
Yeah, we're
Well,
like
it should be
15.
fucked.
We're like 20 seconds in, whatever. So no. So the first thing was I guess I'm just gonna tell you about the show because like
Go for it.
we can't show it, right?
Yeah, fuck.
First thing I do, I use hood latches that are the kind that sink into the hood, right?
Okay.
And then
oh,
it
like an
breaks.
arrow catch?
Yeah, well,
or arrow, whatever.
Yep.
What it is.
So the bolt came loose or had come loose or something, and it just hood flies up. And I don't know if I left one open or somebody left one open and the other one came loose, but one was definitely down, one was definitely up because I like looked through all the footage and stuff.
Yeah.
It just flew up and slammed like right after I started. So I start and then like, whoa!
Perfect for a
Yep.
stunt driving show.
and so I'm gonna tell you all about the show because like now.
It sounds entertaining
So anyways,
now.
So
I'm
the
sure
good
at the
part
time.
about getting
Yeah.
T-boned was they let me zip tie my hood down.
Okay.
So the hood flies up, I goes back down. I'm kind of crawling around the back area. I get
Wait. So the hood was up while you got T-boned?
No, it went back down. I reversed and brought the hood back down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you do.
exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. I was gonna get the hood down. And so I'm like driving around the back area, get T-boned, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'll zip tie my hood down. And so I zip tie the hood down, and then the whole place is gravel. Like there's nowhere to grab traction.
dude.
You try to the minute you hit the throttle, you just slow down. Like you're going like 10 miles an hour. Anyway, so I had no concept of what the show really was going to be when we got there, and I
I
get
feel
there,
like no one did.
dude, it was so bad. It was really, really bad.
Like, did
And-
they give you like any kind of instruction before?
Well, they said light rubbing.
or
Yeah, they said light rubbing.
they said light rubbing and you're gonna run away from police.
Yep, they said there's going to be pit maneuvers where like they pitch you. I wonder if I'm going to get sued for this.
I
don't
doubt
think
it.
that.
We haven't said
I
any
doubt it.
production company name, just the name of the channel
This
and
is
the
all
show.
allegedly anyway.
I think
it's
we're
all
okay.
allegedly. Yeah,
But
I think we're in the green.
So they
No, we'll be
basically
okay.
so basically you were prepared for your car to get pit maneuvered.
yeah, like denting, like when we were at FD.
Nah, in GTA, you literally they make you just literally like poof.
So I was prepared for the damage of an FD round. If I hit the wall, my fault, right?
Yeah.
Not expecting somebody to
T-bone your
me,
car at
right?
40 miles an hour.
40 miles an hour ain't slow,
no,
dude.
that's very bad.
And the thing is, like, so the where he pit maneuver, where he T-boned me was there's like, imagine you coming at me, and then I see like a left turn here, right? And so he's coming at me, and I'm like, all right, I can make a left because I know he's not going to hit me. So I turn to left, and he just goes, kapow! He like throttled in, and it was, yeah, anyways. So,
these are like stunt drivers or something?
yeah. Dude. They don't care.
Oh my
But-
god.
They're driving like Crown Vics.
All right,
Down-
sorry to interrupt you again. So, okay,
Anyways.
you get
Yeah.
hit,
Yep.
you zip tie your hood down.
Zip tie the down, go through it, and then they just keep hitting me, like, constantly, right? And I can't go any faster because the minute I hit the throttle, I mean, the car makes 700 horsepower. Like, the minute I hit
it's
the
all
throttle on
gravel.
gravel, it just slows down.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to cruise at this, like, 3,000 RPM, and I'm kind of getting away from them. And then I find a dead end, and then they box me in, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to start getting out of here. And I just drive, I just keep going. I just do not, like, story of my racing career.
So-
I just don't stop, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I like slowly get away from them. And then I'm like, where? They're like, there's nobody. All the cars broke. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna look for the exit because there's like an exit area, and I get to
So
the
that's
exit.
the point. You're supposed to start somewhere, avoid the cops stopping you.
Yep, and then you get to the exit. And whoever does it the fastest, you move on to the next round. So I got through the exit. I was super pumped.
Wait, so you just mentioned that you weren't really giving it any gas.
Okay.
Were you scared that it was going to look lame on camera? I would be scared that whole time. I'd be like, fuck, I'm going to look like I'm going 10 miles an hour.
At that point, I wasn't really thinking about
Yeah,
that.
It was
get me the
survival.
fuck out of here.
I was like, I didn't know what I was thinking because my car just got messed. I was like, literally 20 seconds into the thing, and my car got destroyed. And then they're like, "You want to keep going?" And I was like,
At this point, he's like, I just need that check and I need to go
yeah,
home.
exactly. I'm like pocket it. I want to essentially like collect whatever I need to do to get home.
Yeah.
And like this, where did we shoot? We shot in where did we shoot? Oh, we shot in Georgia, dude. The story, if you want to see a so, anyways, I'll tell you. I drove through a snowstorm to get to that shoot.
Okay.
So that was that crazy Texas snowstorm thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I'm going down the 10.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And there was like, I'm like Googling, like looking at the map and like seeing where the storm is. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to miss the storm. I'm going to go underneath the storm. Like I'm going to go south of the storm, right? So I'm like, awesome. Like all the storms north of me. And I get to the next rest stop and there's just like hundreds of semis. And I'm like, what the
No.
And it was, there was no diesel. There was no diesel. And so I ended up going, like, this is on the way to the show. I drove from San Francisco to East Georgia, like, No, not
Gainesville.
Not
What is it?
Gainesville.
That's Florida.
No, it was somewhere in Georgia.
Yeah.
Is east of Atlanta. Anyway, so going down, and I ended up going into like a emergency shelter because there was nowhere. Like I had no diesel, like literally no diesel. My phone was down. Like it was just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go.
This just sounds like a fucked situation.
Yeah, and then so I called AAA. Oh, hey, this is right, and they're like, we're not servicing that area.
You guys helped me out once before.
Yeah, and they did. 14 hours later, so I was hanging out, and they're like, "Hey, we're here." I'm like, "Where?" I'm like, "They're like, we're at this shelter." I'm like, "All right, cool." And so I walk outside. This guy gives me 5 gallons of diesel, and I drive a Sprinter van. Right, that's what we tow with. 12 and a half miles to the gallon, and I towed it up. I'm just gonna go north.
Yeah.
And then see what. And then once I got into snow, there was diesel still, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
But
It's because no one wanted to go there anymore. Maybe
I think the
don't
freeways
know.
go 10, 20, 40. I think that's how it goes. With like, so I was on the 10, went to the 20, and I found some diesel, and then I start driving through Texas, and then I get into Louisiana, and then everything's blocked off. Semis are all jackknifed and
God.
everything like that. This was amazing. I was on the 20, fully snowed out, and I'm like, from Cali, so I'm like, we're stopped in traffic on the 20. Just, who's smoking weed? Right? And so I look at my rearview mirror, and there's just a Camaro, like, just blowing trees out of the, like, this is,
Is
this
it
is like,
stopped? It's
this is
stopped. They gave up already.
Single lane, snowed out, like, everywhere's snow, right? And we're under an overpass, and the guy's just blowing trees behind me. And I'm like, dude, what?
He gave up already, dude.
Yeah.
He's in relaxation mode now. He's like, let me
Yeah.
take the edge off.
And so, I mean, but this is a remote, right? We're just like one lane of like everyone stopped, right? Like you look this way, you just see cars, right? Look behind you, just cars, right? Cop rolls up.
Oh my god.
Dude gets a DUI. It's the middle of a snowstorm. Gets out,
Sitting
it's
still.
like, bro, it was one of the most ridiculous situations.
Oh
Like,
my
I felt really
God.
bad for it, but like, I don't know what to tell. Like, I don't know if a snowstorm's a right or wrong place to start. Like,
I mean, I get it. I get it.
yeah, I mean, like, what else are
Maybe
you gonna
if,
do,
maybe
right?
if they
Like,
weren't in the car.
yeah, if he wasn't in the car, pull over, take a nap. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
exactly.
like, all right. Like,
Oh
I
my
thought
God.
that I was under the impression I was gonna leave the car here. Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
different.
So
like,
after that, there was a bunch of, we all start talking, like a bunch of truck guys, and I make a U-turn, get onto some back road in Louisiana, right? Driving the van and the trailer with the race car in the back, slide off the side of the road.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
I was like, this story's gonna end with some kind of sliding off a road.
Dude, this dude come and like, I mean, he had more smiles than teeth. Like he was the nicest guy like ever in the back, and he just pulls up with a big old like cigar hanging out of his mouth, and he was the nicest guy in the world. And he drove like 4 miles to go to the other side of the road, and then ratchet strapped my whole rig out of it.
Oh my God.
it was crazy.
what
But-
did he with some sort of recovery vehicle?
No, he had a 3500 4-wheel drive dually.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't even like a AAA guy anymore.
No, it wasn't AAA. It was a
Random guy.
I'll get you out of here.
yeah, exactly.
bro,
That was exactly. Yeah.
Dude,
What do y'all
anywhere.
do? Y'all Oh, you're from you're from California.
Yeah, you're from
Okay.
California,
Well,
right.
that's
You're
the
a long
fucking-
way from home.
That's the fucking problem.
No,
Yeah.
yo, anywhere
I think
but
you know this guy, yeah.
anywhere but Jersey, dude. Anywhere but Jersey. In New Jersey, they're. Oh my God,
Oh,
sucks,
Jersey.
sucks for that
yeah,
guy.
no one's stopping.
I'm going.
Probably the same in California. Might be like that
No,
too.
people are pretty nice in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, no one's giving a fuck.
Do you not
Yeah.
remember we were already there?
People are, yeah.
Yeah, but I always say
You
the
get
closer you are
sussed
to a
out.
main city, like a big city,
Yep.
the meaner people are going to be. That's usually my thing.
I don't
I
know,
think
man.
they're different type of mean though. They're like
Okay.
a big brother mean,
Okay,
right?
I'll
so
go
like,
with that.
so if they see that you're fucking up, they'll be
Yeah.
like, no, fuck you. But if they see that like someone's getting fucked up, or I think they'll step in. Like I
Yeah.
at least noticed that in, well, where I grew up in San Francisco. Now San Francisco is different, but like the San Francisco I grew up in, if you saw somebody getting like handled, you would
Yeah.
stop and be like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And if it was like someone's big brother and they're just slapping them around, you'd be like, all right, whatever. But
Yeah.
if there's somebody that's like, or a woman getting taken advantage of or something, people would step in. People
Yeah.
won't. But now, I mean, I don't know. I saw some reports in New York. I think things are different here a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally you'll see like something good happen. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's very rare. Usually, if someone's broken down on the side of the road or something, you're blowing by. You could literally see an accident happen in front of you, and people will drive by immediately, like as that person gets into a bad accident. Like everyone will just start
I'm
going
zooming
around
out.
them.
I don't want to get in that traffic jam.
See?
I'm gone.
See?
I'm gone.
That's like our first.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let me get the fuck out of here.
Now mind your business.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's bad.
But I want to know because we keep talking about the Bay Area, right? And when we had Lex on here, I asked him the same question.
Okay.
Did you ever like experience a sideshow? Not takeover, like a sideshow in the Bay, like
Are they the same thing?
yeah.
But technically, I guess they were supposed to.
No,
be,
so
but
Lex defended this the most.
Yeah.
And the best way possible, I think. Because when I thought of a sideshow, I thought of like,
Takeover.
yeah, takeover immediately, but they called it a sideshow way back. It wasn't called a takeover back then.
Yeah, yeah.
That takeover term is something new to me. Like that's
I-
the last
That's
few
like.
years.
I think that term's not from here, but that's what.
In
the,
SoCal they called that. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's the first time I heard it when I
Yeah.
went to SoCal and I saw something happen.
People getting
Yeah.
rocked. But
Yeah.
when I asked Lex about the sideshow, he said it wasn't really about that. It was like my favorite situation he gave me. He was like, let's say we all got Camaros, right? You got a Camaro, I got a Camaro, you got a Camaro, Malcolm's got a Camaro, Chris, Harry's got one too. And you got a red stripe, you got a blue stripe, you got a green stripe, you got a pink stripe, you got a purple stripe, and I got like, I don't know, a white stripe. And like you're all bumping the same CD. Like that's what he explained to me was a sideshow
he made it sound like it was like a hangout.
it was a
thing,
hangout
like
where you go to like to show up, not show up, but you want to make sure that you're known.
Yeah, maybe
Like
pick up a
that kinda-
girl here or there.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. He was like, yeah, you see they got all the good girls over there.
Yeah.
Like, and then he's like, yo, so I'm gonna go show what I got,
and I guess
and then they'll do donuts and stuff. That's what Lex explained it to me as in summation, but that's probably not.
It was a lot more peaceful.
I would think so.
Yeah,
And then the crowds weren't there to like.
they weren't even there. I don't think.
They weren't there to like purposefully get hit. I feel like some of these kids are trying to get hit now.
It sure seems that
I'm
way.
like, why are you playing chicken with the back of a Hellcat? Like they'll try to jump over it, and I'm like, that only happened in that Kobe video, rest in peace, with the Aston Martin, which was a green screen,
yeah.
which I thought was real for the longest time. Do you know what clip I'm talking about?
No.
Kobe jumps over or quote unquote jumps over an Aston Martin, and I feel like that started a trend
That might
for
have.
everybody.
It's bad, man.
Like, but I just don't know. I don't see the point of it. Do you see takeovers happening in San Francisco at all?
So it's more of East Bay and North Bay stuff. It's no, I'm not in that life.
Thank
Well,
God.
that's good.
Thank God. I'm scared that I'm gonna get caught in one. Like I'm gonna be at a traffic light, and then I'd be so scared. I'd be like, oh my.
You're gonna be at a
fucking God.
Wawa, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, the intersection's gone.
Dude, it's bad.
Yeah,
like
no,
I
it's
don't
bad over
understand.
here right now. That's
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like random people know about it that don't even know what drifting is. They'll be like, yeah, one of those.
Oh, you're
car
one of those
meets,
guys.
Or you guys do it in the
It
intersections.
sucks. It kind of brings
It
a
does.
bad rep to the sport to the people who don't really know about the sport.
It definitely does.
Little do they know, there's a subculture in here waiting. You'll see takeover. We're gonna take over the takeovers.
I think the takeovers are gonna stop eventually.
I feel like it's just
honestly. I think it's
yeah.
a fad. Because there's nothing you can gain out of it. You're just
I don't
damaging
know,
shit.
man. There's some crazy stuff. I saw a post recently where it was like somebody reported a stolen Hellcat, and then the next, it had to have been within the next few days, there was a video of the Hellcat
At a
with
takeover?
people holding like
The dude's homework.
big
Yeah.
Guns?
big ones
okay.
out the window, and I'm like, oh my God, like,
Hey, man.
like and that's within 2-3 hours of where we all live.
Yeah,
like it's somewhere within that vicinity.
I
know.
just can't get over the fact that you drove your car all the way from California through a snowstorm, got thrown off into wherever the hell fucking that guy with no teeth helped you out.
Dude, it's on
You
my
were stuck with no diesel.
dude. It's
That sounds
Then,
apocalyptic.
then you get
dude.
to the show and they just T-bone your car. And you're like, what the fuck is this?
so imagine the
Went through
mindset.
this quest.
Dude, imagine the mindset of driving back through that, right? So like after that, like going home, I was like, dude, I felt like I went to war.
Yeah.
Sorry, my contacts went nuts.
I would have been like, we're going north. We're taking the upper bend.
Oh man. So
Yeah.
like, how did that all end for you? That show?
with him loading the trailer, going home.
Yeah, just like head down, like put the car in the trailer. No, I mean that's pretty much it.
Did you lose? Did you win? Did you?
I made $2,000,
Okay. Well, that's good.
right? I mean, didn't cover the cost of what the damage.
And they didn't even offer to like fix that.
No, that was very explicit. They were like, we are not covering damages. That was like super clear, like everywhere that said we're not covering. It was effed. It was like
Yeah,
super
But
effed.
I hope they paid you for your time,
Well,
right?
just the 2
Nope.
grand.
Yeah, so whatever you won. So they paid us for. So they offered to either transport the car or pay for us towing it out there, right?
Okay. So
Okay,
they
I
paid
would
for
have
that.
taken. I would have towed it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I don't
mean,
want.
if there's no snowstorm.
If there was no snowstorm.
Yeah. And so I mean, between the damage on the trailer, the damage to the truck,
Oh my gosh.
because the torque converter got effed in the snow and I got stuck. And anyway, and then the trailer brakes all got. Anyways, long story short, there was like probably 10 to 15 grand worth of damage on the car and on the trailer. It was-
Hey, but you
Yeah.
want some $2,000? Though.
yeah, you want 2 grand?
Yeah.
Well,
So I
here you
think-
go, buddy.
Yeah, I think exactly.
You need a place to stay tonight, or you can head out
right.
now.
Here's a fucking nickel.
Yeah.
So it was, but I mean, like that's the dumb stuff I do to just I don't know. Maybe we all just say yes to dumb stuff.
No,
I don't know. I would have probably said yes
Yeah.
too.
Carl definitely would have said
Because
yes.
it's a TV.
Yeah,
it's a
100%.
TV show. How often? Well,
No,
you were
yeah.
already on a TV show.
Well, was that before or after?
That was after.
That was after.
And
Okay.
he had this great. You had this great experience on.
Yeah,
Netflix.
that's why.
I've gotten stuck in so many countries where I like have no exit strategy. I'm like, I love that kind of stuff, right? I mean, we'll all figure it out, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
just
yeah. I'm the
Figure it
same
out.
way. Yeah. But so you were on the Netflix show, and you were like, oh, that was a pretty good experience.
So you gave the second one a shot.
So the Netflix show is interesting because it was an okay experience. Yeah, I mean, the car got really messed up, right? And
Oh,
that
so
was,
it got messed up there too.
but it was not their fault. It was just I didn't know that we were going to be drifting over train tracks, all this kind of stuff, and it's just like, yeah, but you sign up for just throwing yourself into the mix,
Yeah.
and that's fun. Whatever, like life's an experience, and like
I mean, it wasn't that bad because I feel like if those two shows were reversed, you would have never went to the Netflix one.
maybe that's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
You probably are hesitant to do any more of those shows. You gotta.
I'd probably say yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude!
It's why not, right?
It's
like,
why. Yeah. Yeah. Frankie,
The car got T-boned
You're telling me. You're telling me if there was like a hyperdrive.
with my car.
Yeah.
No,
really.
never in a million years.
So that's funny because they.
But it's a different mentality too. I'm not a comp driver. I don't want I'm not saying you want your car to get crashed into, but you're very used to it.
very.
I'm not.
I'm
if that
usually
happens
the
to my
one that's
car,
doing it, yeah.
Yeah. If that happens to my car, I'm gonna be fucking mad in some way,
So
shape, or form.
I can relate. So I have an S13 with a 2J2, and that was the story about that car is like I've known the whole history of that car, right? Like so, my buddy in high school owned that car, and then I went to my buddy in college, and then I bought it from him.
Okay.
And that car, if it got messed up, I'd
Yeah.
probably, I have like a
Did Frankie tell you at all how long he's had that one? He's had that one for a minute. How long?
like
has he had it?
2012, I got that car. Yeah.
So 11 years now.
That's pretty good.
I feel like at that point, like that's like
I mean, if no one told me, like if I was in your situation where like they're gonna like whatever they told you,
Light rubbing.
yeah. Maybe it would be
Still
different.
did it
But then
light
after
rub-
hearing this story from you and T-Pain and fuck
Dude, and
that.
like Lex's car was like he was livid, and for
well,
rightfully-
he is in my
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's his
it's the
baby,
same thing,
right?
yeah.
Like, and that I mean, it was they effed him up.
We
They like
definitely should have talked to him
head on.
about that shit.
I feel like he probably didn't talk
I think
about it
he-
because it bothered him so
yeah,
much.
that
Yeah.
might be a thing too.
That's
And
what I would want.
yeah,
Not
he
want
probably
to
would
do.
have got lit.
I honestly at this point don't.
Yeah, you
I'm
don't.
just
It's whatever.
yeah.
Oh my god, man.
Damn.
Dude,
I
those
would
shows
be
are crazy.
Oh, dude, I couldn't even imagine how infuriated I would be.
Yeah, you would be so mad too.
Like I would be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Dude, it was yeah.
Imagine being T-Pain and watching his car get hit.
Dude, that's crazy. That's like
I think
that's
it
so
blows
effed
my
up.
mind that you didn't know that.
I
Did you
didn't know
see
that-
the car there?
Oh yeah. I just didn't know he didn't know that he didn't like. You know, you see T-Pain's car, you're like, okay, that makes
Yeah.
that just doesn't make any sense to me.
It was
Oh man.
Like how is he?
somebody in the chat is probably correcting me right now because there's probably like people
Like,
who know the situation.
Malcolm probably
I
would
mean,
say it.
that's illegal, right? Like, I mean,
I feel like the whole show's illegal, to be honest with you.
This whole show just sounds like something like we could make a show.
Yeah, light
That's what that's
rubbing.
telling me.
we definitely signed our life away.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you didn't read the fine print.
Ah, you're beat.
Yeah, like we
Yo,
said light rubbing, but
the term light rubbing keeps
yeah, that's the
Dude,
best term.
it
making
was-
me giggle.
Oh shit! All right, let's talk about Formula Drift this weekend.
All right.
All right, so let's get all this craziness.
The light rubbing.
I know that's
That's what they said they were gonna do to you on
Carl
the show.
just caressing my arm.
Nice.
I'm lightly rubbing.
That's it. Team light rub. Yeah.
So how many events have you done this year so far? Like
One in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
You mean FD?
yeah, an FD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, any other events?
Just local stuff. I mean,
Okay, yeah. So you're still doing like grassroots stuff
Yep.
and
I mean, the Sonoma stuff, we have events all the time. So
oh
it's,
yeah. So you manage the Sonoma Drift now?
Yep, 4 to 10 p.m. on Wednesday nights, and it's the first and third Wednesday of every month. So we used to do 25. At max, we did 25 Wednesdays, and then now it's down to 18, which is, it sounds like a big knock, but it's actually a lot more manageable because it's regular. So it's like we used to do like, you'd have to look at the schedule and figure it out, like what Wednesday it is. And now that's the first and third, it's people.
Wait, no, I love that though,
Yeah,
because
that is awesome.
it will give people honestly, if you just wanted to do Sonoma, you can make a whole ass season.
You really could.
Every first and third of the Wednesday.
yeah.
Don't fucking bother me.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
Like-
I remember when back in the Altamont days, we had Thursday night drifts. I would just make sure I had Thursday night off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
They used to
Yeah.
do Wednesday night at Club Lou's like 10 years ago.
Yep.
And that was like it was the same thing. It's
awesome.
like, dude, it's doing that shit on a weeknight is so much fun.
Because what else are you gonna do?
you just feel good. You feel gangster.
Yeah, it's fun.
You're like,
'cause
I don't
it's
have
like-
responsibilities.
It's like, this isn't normal. This was going to be going drifting at the track on a Wednesday.
Yep.
But it's
They used to
that's
have
why it's fun.
Friday night drift parties a lot more often too.
Yeah, now they moved it to Friday night drift party, which that's the weekend, dude.
Yeah. Normal people come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't
And
know.
also it used to go later.
So
who knows? Maybe Chris and Apple change it up.
It's not even Chris's choice.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
It's all
the
Club
city,
Lou's.
yeah.
It's like the city and like,
Oh, true,
And we
yeah.
wanna keep doing this. So
Maybe
let's,
that is what it was. Yeah, I guess it was a sound thing. I didn't even know
maybe.
about
I don't know. It's
So
all
the-
them straight pipe VQs.
right.
that. Yeah, you shook your head like you took that personal. You got
So
you got
it's
something
like,
against
so
them.
we have a really high decibel limit, right? It's 114, which is that's almost
That's-
like not a limit.
Yeah,
right?
no, that's
And
pretty
so
high.
Sometimes you have the you get the ting in your ear, like some gnarly, like a big cammed LS with like massive exhaust. That's like 114, or the straight pipe M50, or like the straight pipe VQ,
Yeah.
where there's nothing for the car. And you're like, I'm like, your ear just starts to like tingle a little bit. You're like, that's like 114.
So that's your decibel reader.
Yeah, right. No, and then you have the app on your phone, so I have to. Try to,
Wait, what? There's an app on the phone?
Oh yeah, it's free. And then you stand 50 feet away. When they go by, you got to check it. I'm like, all right, 113.
That's cool.
There-
For all you people getting pulled over by the cops, just whip that out and make sure you.
Have you ever done that?
No, I haven't.
I had one of my first cars was an Integra.
Yeah.
And the moment you put an exhaust on a Honda, there's nothing you can do to keep it quiet. I don't give a fuck what you say. You could get the Apexi World Sport 2. That's the only way you can make it quiet. But I was driving and I had an exhaust made. Honestly, I might have brought it to Chris at that shop that he used to work at. But I had a muffler and a resonator and everything, and the cop pulled me over. And he made it known. He's like, "Do you have any idea why I pulled you over?" I'm like, "No, actually, no." And then he's like, "Your exhaust is so loud." And I was like, "Well, actually, this one falls underneath the 90 decibel reading of New Jersey if you want to test it."
My friend Nico would do
and
that.
then he went back to his car. I'm sitting there with the person I was dating at the time, and he comes back, gives me a written warning,
Okay.
and then let me go.
Hmm.
Normally, when I got pulled over before that, I wouldn't say a peep. I would
Yeah,
be like,
yeah, 'cause you didn't know.
No, I'm so sorry. Like, okay, thank you for the ticket. Bye. But then I stood up for myself that one time. Never got an exhaust ticket ever since. Ever.
Yeah, that's
So it might be in the system as like, don't fuck with this guy.
I
he knows the rule.
I don't know if that's true.
He knows
but
the rules. It is the rule though. It's 90 decibels at I believe it's 3,000 RPM or something like that. You got to hold it and then they test it.
The cops
what-
don't
how
even know
many
these
feet?
rules, dude.
I don't know the feet.
Probably
I,
like 50 feet.
I think that maybe he just didn't want to pull the tester out.
Yeah, that's what it was. He didn't.
didn't have batteries
He doesn't
in the
know
tester.
what.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't know what the rule was.
Maybe
He
he
did not
didn't-
know what the rule was.
didn't know what the
and
rule
he
was.
saw you whipping out knowledge.
Yeah,
He's like, okay, I'm not.
There,
fucking
now
with
there was another. There's
You're not
another
gonna fuck
rule
with
out there.
Tuesday? Yeah.
I'm
just
not
gonna
wasting
give-
a day at court.
I'm going to give the drifting population a bit of the New Jersey drifting population. Let's say your car has a third brake light,
Okay.
and it's out. That's a ticket.
Yeah.
But
But
if there is no third brake light present at all,
Oh, really?
we're good.
but
So
like
if your third brake light's out,
Like-
just remove your rear seats,
Remove
pull your back window.
everything. That's what I did. And like,
instead of changing the bulb.
so no, I had like
awesome.
a little fake little GT wing. I was a kid. I had a little GT wing on my
Hey, I had
Integra.
3-inch spacers, man. You don't have to tell me.
You did. But I had the wing, and I thought that it looked so goofy with the. Oh no, the third brake light was on the wing. It was a GSR, so the
okay.
third brake light was on the wing.
Yep.
Which means when I removed it,
Yep.
there was now no more third brake light. But it was also not present. So when the cop pulled me over and he was like, "Your third brake light's out," and I'm like, "Actually, there isn't one." And then he was like, "Oh," and then he gave me a normal verbal warning and told me to get out of there. And then when I remember this to this day, when I went to go turn the car on, I think it was like karma. But when I went to go turn the car on, it just straight up didn't start. And then I was like, fuck. I go to the battery terminal. It was just a little loose. And then the cop is there.
This is a
like,
common thing with your cars, Carl. That happened the other night at Applebee's.
no, it didn't.
Yeah, with your truck.
That was 2 months ago.
I'm just saying.
And yeah, we went wheeling, remember?
No, you were about to leave on a trip.
I was
with that
going to
truck.
Summit.
The next
Yeah.
day, and he gets in the car. He's like, "All right, man, see you later." He fucking just goes to start it, doesn't start, turns around, looks at me.
Did I fix it or no?
Yeah, you popped the hood, got out, wiggled the battery, got in. That was it. I was,
Sequoia. But
okay.
no, literally, yeah, the cop, he had to have been laughing in his car, dude. He was this motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's what you fucking get.
No, I mean that is true though. Like, because some cars didn't obviously come with third
Come with a
brake
third
lights,
brake
like
light.
older cars. But it's like, dude,
I mean,
if you got a fucking like BRZ,
hold on. Disclaimer: we are not responsible for any legal issues or problems that you run into. I just got to put that out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you don't have one there present, it's not technically illegal.
well, yeah, if the car didn't come with it.
Oh well, I made it not come with it.
Yeah, that part's a little fuzzy.
It clearly didn't come with me here. Boom.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a little fuzzy that part, but
How are you excited to get into the gauntlet? Have you tried it at all?
No, we walked it. I've never tried it.
Oh,
before.
I
Yeah.
thought you did drive it.
No,
No,
dude, it's
never driven
brand
it.
new.
shit.
It's it.
Yeah, and the years you were naming
It didn't exist.
didn't exist.
Yeah, so it started, I guess, in 2021.
But I
right?
thought you were driving. Oh, you weren't driving. You were driving 2020.
2020.
And then he skipped 21.
Skip 21, skip 22.
Skipped 22.
So 2020
because you said the kid was awesome, which
Yeah,
I
she's
love that
awesome,
for you.
yeah.
2020 was at Wall or didn't exist.
2020 did not. Where was it supposed to be?
So it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Oh.
I think
20
that was
it was
supposed
probably
to be
supposed
at
to be
Wall.
Jersey. No, I think it was Jersey.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
So, because 2020 we were supposed to have it at Sonoma too. It was supposed to come back to Sonoma,
Oh, that's cool.
and that got canceled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Will we see it there eventually again?
Well, that's a good question. Sure, why not? Maybe.
Yeah, I
All right.
hope.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
would be
I mean,
awesome.
the weird thing is that there's only 2 California rounds, right? So they have to be up for 3 California rounds. We've got infrastructure, everything's there, but
Yeah.
it's just a matter of does it make sense. I'll talk
wonder
to
if
Red
they'll-
about it.
I
Man,
wonder if they
California's kind of big.
Have they ever made the series longer in the history?
They should not do that.
No.
I mean, maybe
It's
they
too
should.
much.
As a former Pro 1 driver, like if you're on any kind of budget,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah.
Right.
It's too much.
It's also this is one thing that most people don't think about. 8 rounds is 2 months of the year. So it's 2 months that you're not like.
Yeah.
I actually love working. Like I enjoy having a job.
Yeah.
And I just enjoy what I do. And taking 2 months away from family and work is like
Pretty intense.
it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
Right. You can try to like butt end the week by like flying in on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. It doesn't work.
yeah, unless you have a crazy huge team and you're like you just fly in and drive the car.
But yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still.
Well, that's what like Ken Gucci does.
Yeah, like
He competes in like Japan,
Yeah.
and then we'll fly back here, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is happening here? like
That's definitely a little
that
different.
sounds strenuous. like
But when you're doing everything yourself for the most part, it's like that's crazy,
like so
dude.
I'm lucky where like the shop essentially maintains the car, right? So Victor that runs the shop, he does an amazing job, and then he also maintains the car and the shop, and that's been a blessing because I have a day job, right? That's
Yeah.
what I do, and I can work, I can handle paperwork while I'm gone, which is amazing because it also gives me more time to like handle stuff that normally I wouldn't be able to handle.
Yeah.
That I have trouble handling when I'm actually there.
damn.
So that balance is interesting, but
That
it's
sounds so nice though. Like for me who doesn't have that, like as a, like it's like having my hobby still separate from my job, which I can completely respect. Like that.
dude. There was a picture of me at Wall in 2016. I was the marketing manager of Sonoma Raceway, and
Okay.
I was in a driver's meeting. And I've always had like another job, or and I was in the driver's meeting, and I had my hand like this because I was on a NASCAR conference call during the drivers' meeting because you have to be at the drivers' meeting. And like, there's a comment like, "Oh, Faruk's deep in thought," and I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking am. Like, I'm fucking listening to this conference call."
So you're working while
you were
you're
doing the green screen Teams meeting before that was a thing.
No, yeah, but it was. It's been, you know, I don't know, man. I like working, and I hope that drifting always stays to a certain extent a blue collar sport. And the cool thing is that all the OGs, like Vaughn used to work in IT. Like everyone's, you know, like worked, right? Like there's very few, especially the OGs, that are just very few silver spoon babies. Like everyone's just like, the grit is real, which is kind of cool.
I mean, we got to get more pro drivers on here to talk about that stuff because most people that we're surrounded with in the grassroots, they think all the pros are just
Rich.
You know, are rich.
Right out the box.
That's what everyone thinks.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even give them a chance.
I know that kind of
If you
sucks.
saw what's in my bank account right now, you would not think that.
But like, that's the mentality of like people that are below those, you know, higher comp.
Well, I gotta admit, I'm also at fault for that too. I'm one of
I've
those.
definitely said that before too.
Where I'm like, God damn.
It's all based
Yeah.
on the amount of abuse you're willing to put yourself through.
Yeah.
Right. And it's what you want to do, right? So like competition is not for everybody. Like straight up. Like when you're at the line qualifying and you look at this course and you're like, hey, so I just spent 10 grand, 14 grand being here. Like if I fuck this 30 seconds up,
it was all for nothing.
it was fucking for nothing, right? So that's an interesting place to be in. And I love it.
Yeah, dude, my heart would be beating out of my mouth.
So Harry sees my days, like, and I'm just packed, right? Like I wake the kid up, take her to school, like then I'm dealing with Hunter all day long, and then I also have to deal with the shop stuff at night, and then the family stuff at night, and then the racing stuff at night, and it's like days are full.
A lot of night stuff.
Lot of. It's a very full day.
Yeah.
And it's it's intense, but that's also like, is the juice worth the squeeze? I think the juice is always worth the squeeze if you squeeze right,
Yeah.
like, and you got to live life. If you want to just drift on the weekends, 3 weekends a year, and then keep your car beautiful, and that's also great. That's a fantastic thing because there's a lot of beauty in keeping something perfect. Like that whole process of keeping something perfect is great, but that's a different. I don't knock that at all. That's amazing. But at the same time, if you want to bash your car against the wall and then get yourself in these super stressful situations because you like that kind of stuff, there's also work.
I mean, there's always the competition mentality is always like it's completely different from that. You
It's
know what I
dumb.
mean? Yeah.
It's so. I mean, like it's not right. Like there's something effed up in my head.
I
right?
mean,
That-
you definitely like you definitely know those kind of people. Like when you're in the grassroots scene, you can even tell like, oh, that guy's like he's really into like the competition side of it, and like then you'll see him like go out and do pro-am stuff. So
Yep.
it's just a different type of person.
So, like, let's look at the history, right? So, 2014 went straight to pro, or pro 2. 2015 went straight to pro. 2016, awful, right? Like, I was second runner up for rookie of the year. So Helbrun got rookie of the year. I got second highest of the rookies, but it was awful. Right, I got memed. I got slammed into every wall. Like never had a bumper on the car. Like it was straight up horrible. And then with that, I went and built the E92, bottom of the barrel the whole time. And then you just keep going. Like what kind of insane person keeps up with that? But there's a sickness to it. Like there's a how far can you push yourself? Like it's not a skill based thing. It's usually a car based thing. And how far can you train yourself and push yourself to improve that? And you look at now, like last round of Pro Spec in Atlanta was the most fun I've had in a pro car ever. Around my homies, did not care how I finished, but I enjoyed the competition.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's like back to that personal best thing.
It's
like
almost
the-
like a grassroots version of competition lifestyle.
It's like with the lowest of lows are the highest of highs. Like it's
Without darkness, you can't see light.
like you gotta really fucking know what it's down. You're down bad. You don't know whether you're gonna give this sport up, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden you have a great day, and you forget all that shit,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then it happens again,
And it kind of seems
like
like
a drug.
And it kind of seems like you found your place right now. Like you did the Pro 1 stuff, and then
It's I don't like people ask me, are you going to go back up? Or is that your goal? Like, are you trying to win Pro Spec? I'm like, no.
I think you said in one of the videos, like you like the fact that you're kind of right now you're kind of bringing it back to being able to just drive more.
And
Which
the theory of the car also has changed. So Julian Dumais is my spotter, and he's a phenomenal driver, right? And so we talked about like, what are we doing, right? And the idea is to create a car that can be driven easily for the judges. So like, have fun driving it, but I love gripped up cars. Like bring Wisefab to the States. It just adds tons of grip to the car, and it's very easy to just like, let's just make the car faster and faster and faster. And next thing you know, it's pretty undrivable, like straight up. But it's addictive. You're like, I can drive this. I can drive through this. I can get through this. I got it. Just give me one more lap.
Yeah.
Just need one more lap. But you only have 7 laps in practice.
Oh my god.
You know, so it's like, you got to be you watch a pro. The best thing to watch, if you can somehow watch it, is Pro 1 practice the first laps out. You've never seen dudes that shred that hard, like immediately. And you know, most people have been to those tracks the previous year, but cars coming off the trailer, first lap out, it's like a 95-point run.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's nuts the amount of like mental fortitude that you could.
Jeez.
But that's a whole other thing. It's fun. The abuse is fun, and like getting into that mental state is a lot of fun.
And you're still getting that competition aspect of it out of your system.
Yeah.
So, you know, it seems like you kind of like turned a new page where you're like, you don't care as much about the winning aspect, but you still want to win, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is I want to have a good battle.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care about like, even with Mata at the last round, like I ran up to him afterwards. I was like, that was effing amazing, because I don't know if no one watches FD, I guess, here, but
You're getting that vibe?
so I at the top of the keyhole in you know, Julian was like, runs are great, you just got to really fill outer zone 2, which is at the top of Atlanta. It's right in front of the judges.
Yeah, I know the track layout
I was-
at least.
so
I was like-
it's a little shallow. It's not like a deep corner, right? Like
Yeah,
you go up
it's blind.
and
So,
then
yeah,
the
it's a keyhole.
zone.
You
There's
come back-
dirt on the outer of
Exactly.
it. I think I watched.
Atlanta's the funnest one.
Why do I
It's-
think
Atlanta's
I
amazing.
definitely watched that round? Because when I was watching it, I've been following it moderately, not moderately, lightly, because of Forrest's car. When I
Yep.
was a kid, that was the one name I knew, because
Yep.
I was like, why the fuck is his last name Wang?
Yep.
And then I heard his car, and then I heard it again, and like, I'm at work, so you know I got the headphones on,
Yep.
and you just hear the RB or whatever he's got, Jay-Z going.
Jay-Z.
It is
like,
a Jay-Z? I thought he was RB guy.
like
Nope,
just
no,
like
he's a Jay-Z.
dumping,
Definitely
like
Jay-Z
you just
guy.
hear it fluttering all the way down the straightaway of Atlanta.
Yep.
And now I definitely watched Faruk run that.
Oh, really?
Because there was an S14, and I'm like, ooh, S14, because dude, it was a sea of E36s,
Dude, it's
and I was
the
like,
chassis have come
and
back.
I was like,
we're
what?
appreciative that you have an S chassis.
I was like, what
Right
the
on.
fuck? And then anytime there'd be an S chassis, I'm like,
Yeah.
let's go. Like,
So Mata, so I had to fill that zone, and I blow it, right. I go way too deep, and I go into the dirt, and I'm in the dirt. I'm seeing Mata pass me. I'm like, I'm gonna go battle this dude now, and so I just get back on him and battle him for the rest of the run.
dude, I
where-
definitely watched this.
and
That's cool.
and that's the fun part about
Yeah.
it, right? Like, so
Yeah.
just putting on a good show, having a good battle. As
Not
much
to
as you
mention
can.
that does help with marketing anyway. Like all the people that saw that and saw you do that, at the end of the day, they're probably going home like, oh, let me look that guy up. Like that was pretty cool. Like I
You probably
appreciate that.
it was a wild dirt drop. Like if it was a normal grassroots event, you would be like, oh shit, oh!
But like, dude, that's what I remember going to watch FD like at Wall, and anytime someone would do some crazy shit, we'd be like, yo, that's the guy you gotta watch, you know. So it definitely helps with that.
Yep.
It's all marketing at the
It
end
is,
of the day.
and it's, you know, what we do. Like people also ask a lot, like as a grassroots dude, how do you get a sponsor? That's a very common question,
Yeah.
right?
I was gearing towards there. Like if you were gonna try again, what would you do?
So I understand that, like from early on, you are an extension of that company's marketing department. So if you're like, okay, if you have 200,000 followers and you do duck face and you're on Instagram all the time, and like if that's you, great, because then you may have
You're talking about like
yeah.
like selfies and shit. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. I was like, what is a duck face?
Do a duck face. Make it. There you go. Boom. So that's a duck face.
Right there.
So if that's you and you have that following, that's amazing, right? Because
Yeah.
then companies naturally want to be a small piece of that, right? But the other option is, what can you do for companies? Like, can you test stuff? Can you talk about, are you literate? You know what I mean? Are you articulate? Can you speak well in front of a camera? What can you do? And if you're not good in front of the camera, find some other venue, right? Can you go hustle and sell stuff for them? Can you it's impossible to get a sponsorship without
Marketing yourself.
marketing
well-
that company
Yes.
and respecting what that company's trying to do. Because if you're trying to do something for them that they don't want done, you're not going to get very far. Yeah. And so it's just understanding that. And I've been lucky with the people I've worked with and just being surrounded by good people.
So now you're working with Ineos.
I am. Yep.
Okay.
They're
How could you tell?
right. Yeah. Sorry. They're a lot of people don't know who they are because they're not that popular in the States, but they're the largest oil company out of Japan. So like most cars that get built in Japan, they're the first oil that goes in the motor. So when you drive, like when the car's pulling out of the lot, your Toyota
Love that
Yeah.
shit.
it's full of Ineos.
Yeah, every
And-
Toyota car got.
I mean, yeah, we always see those stickers too. Wasn't that like a big thing in Initial D too?
Might have been the gas stations because they
right?
have
Yeah.
like tons of gas
In
stations.
the
there.
Philippines, bro, you get gas from Ineos.
Yeah,
Yep.
You know
that
how
was
they say-
always like the big like,
Ineos.
JDM.
Dai
type.
Yoshihara used to work at Ineos station, like back in Japan.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So they're a rad company. They make a great product, and it's just cool to work with people that are passionate, right? That you can like connect with and
That's
And there's
something I can respect.
and that are in the scene. And
Yeah.
they want to actually be involved with everything.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool too. So yeah, we're gonna start selling.
Oh, yeah.
Ineos here.
Sick.
Yeah. So you gave me all the information on it, and I mean I've been reaching out to them. I haven't had luck, but once we met up and talked about it, I was like, well, this is perfect. So
Yep.
yeah, we're gonna throw it up on the website if anyone wants to order some of that, and I'm sure we'll have some at the shop. So we'll do oil changes and stuff if anyone wants to change over.
they make a wild oil that's 050 that I use
Yeah.
a lot, and it's just covers like people are like, oh, I want a 1040 or a 530. I want 050 will cover everything you need.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Wait, what?
They make
Yeah.
it 050.
It's a zero weight.
050.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wait.
zero cold start weight. So it has all the cold start. Now it sounds like a sales pitch, but
Yeah. No.
I mean, let's
No,
go for
that's
it.
totally because I feel like what a lot of people don't know is what those numbers actually mean.
So the first number is
First number is the cold
weight,
viscosity.
cold viscosity. So 0 is the idea that a car essentially has proper lubrication at cold running temperature.
Uh-huh.
And then the 50 is the hot running viscosity. So the higher second number usually is designed for cars with power. So if you look at like old M3s, they required like 1060, for instance, and stuff like that, because it's a design, it's a performance based engine. So it's they're asking for a heavier weight oil to compensate for that. So a lot of that weight can also be made up with technology, where we can make additives and add a bunch of stuff to the oil to compensate for that. But they've developed an oil which is 050, so you cover all your bases.
Yeah.
And it's not now because of the 0. Like, have you ever run like a straight 50 in a JZ? Or no? Sorry. Okay, so
Yeah.
He said sorry.
I'm a Pennzoil guy.
so when I used to run another oil back in the day, and I used to run 2050 in all my JZs, and then
Okay.
one time,
2050 was, I mean, that's the usual weight for like a track car that
Yeah.
you're going to abuse.
very very
Yeah.
standard.
But then
right?
you have the 20. which is-
20 is good for the cold start, right?
The
So
cold
it's thin
start.
enough so that it gets around stuff. And I'm just giving you an example. I ran a straight 50 one time because I was like, the same company made a straight 50 weight. I was like, they didn't have the 2050, and I was like, I'll try the 50 weight. I didn't really know what all the numbers meant, right? And I put the numbers, put the 50 weight in the car. I started it up cold. All the seals started leaking. Like rear main seal, front main seal, everything started leaking because there's so much pressure that's just blowing past the seals. And so, hence no more straight 50 weight in a JZ.
Yeah.
But the 050, that's what they've developed that for. So at cold start, all the bearings are getting enough lubrication, and with 50 weight, you're getting enough protection with the viscosity for the power that you want.
Fuck.
Damn.
And we run like so we turned the car down this year for Pro Spec.
Yeah.
We're at 744 this year. In Pro 1, it's 935. So at 30 pounds of boost to make 935. Now it's at 18 pounds
So
of boost.
same car, you just turned it down.
Literally just
Yeah.
we just run at spring pressure.
Yeah.
And then I had 150 shot of nitrous before, and now we turned it down to 75 shot.
Okay.
And at Seattle in 2020, we turned it up because wildly enough, with a 275 from what we used to run on the bank of Seattle, like you'd think that 935 would be enough. Dude, and it was not staying up on the bank. Where I was like, hey, we need more power. And so we turned it up to 35 pounds, sprayed all the way through the power band.
Holy shit.
It's like, I don't know, 1,200 horsepower or something, but yeah.
I fucking love the word nitrous.
1,200 horsepower.
It was, yeah, it's a wild little S chassis.
Yeah.
Center mounted radiator.
Runs you said you're running nitrous throughout the entire rev range? So you using
Not
like
usually. So usually we run
Like high RPM.
no, so we run a direct shot. So now it's a 75 shot, and the parameter we switched them up. So now it's I might be fudging these numbers a little bit, but it's 1 to 27 pounds, or no, 1 to 17 pounds because the full boost is at 18 pounds. So 1 to 17 pounds,
It's spraying.
or over 80% throttle, or over 3,000 RPM.
Oh, this is much more complex than the RPM window switch I was about to ask if you
No.
run.
So the link you see, you just like punch in the different parameters, and it will say, "Hey, so when I see these, I'm going to punch it." And so
That's cool.
pretty much when you need it, it sprays, and so it spools a turbo. Because I run a 9280 Borg Warner EFR, and it's pretty big.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
gotta
fucking
Those are the
turbo.
highest numbers I've ever heard I'm describing a turbo. So
So
the fuck?
I think it's a 73 mil turbo. Their 92 is a little deceiving, but the 80, and then I run a tile. The rear, I'm going to get a little tech here. But,
That's fine.
Okay. So the rear housing is designed by Tile. So rather than running the EFR rear turbine housing, we run a Tile V-banded housing. So it's not
smaller.
It's
Because
different.
I'm just picturing the way that Tile designs, like, I don't know, a wastegate.
Yep.
It's very compact.
Rather than being a twin scroll like T4 flange, it's a singular flange that's round that goes to our manifold. So the nice thing about that, there's no gasket, right?
Yeah.
So my wastegate's now welded to that. So we have a huge V60 tile wastegate welded to the turbine housing. For the tile.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so the blow-off valve is integrated into the front of the 9280. So everything for the turbo system is like right there.
And you can
Yeah.
One bolt.
Boom.
One bolt, and then you just
off,
yeah,
off.
exactly, and some lights.
Damn, nice.
Yep.
Well, we got to check your car out this weekend.
Yeah, come by.
So you guys run on Friday, right?
Thursday, Friday. So
Thursday,
practice
Friday.
and qualifying is on Thursday.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about the weather.
Yeah.
And then Friday is the comp.
Okay. Yeah, because we were thinking we were gonna go down on Friday. Usually, sometimes we go down just Saturday for the booth and everything. But we're like, now you're making me want to go down on Friday because now I wanna see it.
Prospect's fun, man. Like
That sounds like that's where the party's at.
the people are rippers. The cars are relatable, and like it's
That's the part that I like.
Well, you said 1,200 horsepower, but yeah,
that was in pro. Well, now we're at 744. Right?
Okay.
Oh,
just 700.
woo!
But
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
it's a fun thing, you know. And like there's a lot of cool builds out there too that like I don't know, just like guys that were doing well in Atlanta. You look at their cars, and I mean E36s. Some people, you know.
Yeah.
But he had a GE. There was I can't remember his name. He had a white E36 or E46. I should have paid more attention. And he had a GE. That's what I did pay attention to. That he had a turbo, he had a turbo G in it, which is kind of rad. So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go fucking watch that clip again. Just look
Can't
up
wait.
which driver that is.
I can't wait for this weekend. We should bring more FD drivers on before the
Pack 'em in,
FD weekend,
right?
It's fun, dude. Because you know,
Well, because
you get in
and
that
the
mindset.
whole time, I hope it's not annoying, but like, yeah, we're oohing and on because we don't. You're talking about earlier, for an example. You're talking about going from California to Louisiana. Motherfucker, we're driving like 3 hours to get to the track, and I'm like, woo!
yeah, you're like, well,
That
we're
was a
going
doozy.
far away.
Yeah, we're rigging now. Yeah, like
The guys, so the guys drove from Sonoma to you. You did the drive out here, right? So they were super nice to me. They know that I have a kid, and I like to spend as much time with her as possible. They're like, they brought another guy in to drive, so the three of them drove from Sonoma to Atlanta.
oh, Harry is an MVP. You're
he's-
one of the
he's the
MVPs
real
that
one,
can
right?
make this
Yeah.
happen.
I was gonna ask you how many people are on your team, like
So
currently.
more than we need because
Okay.
I just like people
Yeah.
and like I want to help out. I'm like,
All right.
guess you're coming too.
Yeah.
And we're at 7,
Okay.
including me.
Yeah.
So
So
that's-
you like break that down for me. You got mechanics. You got like,
yeah. So Victor could probably handle it all by himself, but
One
he's-
guy?
yeah, he's pretty amazing.
Why not tack on another 6?
Yeah, but so we have Victor's like handling all the prep on the car beforehand and also at the track, and then Jose comes out. Jose's his buddy, and he's also a great ripper. Like does tires and like he's learning, right? So he's a good mechanic, but he doesn't know the minutia. Kyle is the tuner. So Kyle Boardman is I've known for years. He's worked on other FD teams, and so Victor hasn't been on an FD team before. So having kind of that balance between there's definitely being at FD rounds. There's just the difference of the way things work, right?
Yeah.
So Kyle does all the tuning. So checks the log on the link every run.
Is that a pretty standard thing nowadays to have someone on the team that can handle the tuning aspect?
I feel like you need to. It's such a vital component now.
So that's another thing about ProSpec, which is rad, is we all run link.
Yeah.
We all on
Oh
link
yes, that is.
And so I was on a different ECU, and I'll be straight up. Like the reason I switched to Link was because of the customer support. And this again sounds like a massive plug, but it's 100% true. Like
I like Link. It seems like they love
Yeah,
Toyota.
we were
so I
dealing
love
with the
them.
customer service the other day. Those guys were funny, man.
dude, I can't. Yeah,
They were making me laugh.
you're probably dealing with Justin. You might have been dealing with Justin, but they're just incredible dudes. Like they do it because they love it too, which is
Yeah.
different than like people that are just flipping ECUs for money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's. A lot of people don't know this. They have 24-hour. I hope they still have this because it'd be funny if they don't. But they had 24-hour. They have 24-hour customer support. So because they're in New Zealand, someone will always pick up the phone.
That's cool.
They might have a funny accent, but they're still going to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is we actually have a following in New Zealand. That's
Oh yeah, I found that out too. Yeah. Australia.
Really?
and yeah, and you mentioned what was it? Turkey?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have all over Europe. Dude.
Oh, really?
We're all up in there.
Yeah, we have like the little map that tells you where people are.
that shit made me
downloading the
feel like
podcast.
somebody. That,
Right?
to me,
you are somebody. There you go.
to me that is because we talk about all this stuff and like yeah, I'm just right now I'm just some like just like everybody else, I'm just drifting for fun. But the part that gets me excited about drifting, and Chris can attest to this because we play like video games together, car wrecks and shit. I like the comp shit. I'll be in there pressing Z all day making comps just to run with people because I like the fact that it gives drifting like you have to go hit that zone.
Yeah,
And then
there's
you-
like a goal.
There's a
Like,
guy.
yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's a parameter that you're expected to meet, and that's what gets me excited because I'm like, how fucking close can I get to that parameter
So-
again and like consistently?
So that's one of the things that entices me to competition drifting was
Yeah.
because I want your best.
Yes.
I don't need an excuse. You can make an excuse later, but it doesn't matter because that was where you were supposed to not make an excuse, right?
Yeah.
And I've had a million excuses with my car and everything, right? But long and short of it is I didn't perform,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing that fucking matters.
Yeah.
And it's nice to get somebody's best and your best, and we're out there just jamming,
Yeah.
and that's a whole nother
Oh
level.
god, that gets me fucking
fun.
excited. Like
Yeah.
I want to do that shit.
And whether it's on sim or in real life, like one of the best things practice wise is sim. Like we were talking about earlier, where
yeah, because I
I'm not-
noticed you were.
I was. So
Yeah.
when I had some friends that were really into computers, and I was like, all right, this is rad. And then they build gaming computers. So EK Fluid Gaming, one of the people up top in EK Fluid Gaming is a good friend of mine, and she was like, hey, have you done sim racing? And I was like, no, but and then so I got a computer. We kind of built a whole setup, and dude, it's so hard.
It's hard.
Lex is a huge sim guy. He's
Yes,
actually
he
really,
is.
really good.
And Chris Knapp, when he was on here, he said it the best, I think. If you are going from driving, never touch a sim rig or video games or anything like that, it is more difficult than if you were to go from sim racing to actual driving.
For sure.
It is crazy the difference in just that step alone.
Because you want your butt to move. And
Yes.
it doesn't. It won't.
I've been playing it for a little while because that's kind of how I learned. I
Yep.
would play it and then I would wait for it to rain and then I would get in my 240 and then go fuck around.
Yep.
It was like the closest I would find the feeling to be.
Yep.
And so then when I started showing it to Chris and like my other friend Daryl and this and that, we would play it and I don't know. I would watch them do it and I'm like, they're expecting it to do something else because in a car it would. Like the wheel would spin faster or when you let go of it, the wheel might do something else versus you having to do it yourself.
So I guess
So-
it's good for like getting the basics.
I feel like
down.
so
Yep.
do you
Yeah.
do you look at it as a how do you view it as? Do you look at it as a tool?
It's an amazing tool. So the thing that you don't realize sometimes when you're pretty proficient at drifting is the technique that you take for granted.
How so? Like, can you tell?
So when you like counter steering when you initiate, you've never thought about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I don't anymore.
No. But then in a sim, if you're getting used to it, you 100% think about it. Or if you're driving a different car that you so if you drive like one of the Link cars, or if you drive, there's all kinds of different cool cars that were like lower horsepower, you start to have to essentially adapt your driving technique to the car very quickly. And so you have to like quickly just go back in the basics. Oh, it's like spinning out on transitions for some reason on this course. Okay, well, I got a counter steer earlier. It's what I know, right? That's how you get around that. And so it refines your skills in a way that you almost forget. There's so many things technique-wise that you take for granted, like where you're going to pull the e-brake or where you're going to clutch kick or where you're going to left foot brake. That in a car, 100% natural. You just do it. You don't even think about it anymore. Because
That's like me. I never think about what I'm doing when I'm driving.
Well, now that's so weird because like in Assetto, that's the one that I usually used to use a lot more. Now I just play Car X with Chris because it's fun. It's more of an arcade game. That's how I see it as now.
Yep.
But in Assetto, you would keep spinning, and then what I would do is I'm like, okay, I'm not countering fast enough, so let me physically throw the wheel so that it will spin faster.
Yep.
And then I've been on this season. I've been like, gratefully, Ricardo, a friend of ours, put a camera in my car, or somebody will record me or something, and now I'm like, okay, what am I actually fucking doing here? Like, am I actually driving this thing?
Yeah.
And I'm watching my hands, I'm watching my feet, and then when I'm playing the sim now, I'm like, whoa, that's where I'm getting that. And so there's a screenshot of me where I think I'm fainting toward a wall, and my arm, like as I'm facing the wall, is like this. And I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with my arms? And then what I'm doing, if you slowly after that, I'm like grabbing it and I'm flicking it like this.
Yeah.
Because
that's more flick into it.
Because that's what I would do with my Logitech G25, which is what I still use. It's the first sim wheel.
It's almost like the way you were explaining it was. It's almost like it's almost like teaching you what you're doing while you're driving.
100%.
And then you don't think about it.
Weird.
Yeah. But it's also perfecting techniques that maybe you've started to slip on.
Yeah, or like you didn't even know what you were doing, but now you know what you're doing, so now you can work on it even better.
So 100%. That's exactly what
I
want
to get Frankie to try
and
that shit.
It's my sim's been down for a little bit, but it's incredible.
I feel like every pro driver should probably.
A lot of them do. Like
Yeah.
Rudy Hansen that won the last round, dude. That guy's constantly on the sim, and for a good reason. Like his whole life, him and his wife and their whole crew is like they live drifting, like breathe drifting.
Which brings me back. You only got through 3 members of your crew, I think.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, right. So
I just want to make sure we
we're good.
That.
Yeah, so we got Harry on media, right?
Okay. Full-time media.
Just shoots. Yeah,
that's
his job.
Props to you,
because honestly, so in addition to Harry, I also hire people to shoot at the track because everyone gets different angles, right?
Yeah.
So and every media dude's amazing, right? Like you find the ones that are most of the guys at FD are pretty rad.
Yeah.
And then so Kyle does the tuning and also kind of just oversees the car because if something needs to be relayed with Julian and him are also very good friends. Julian is the spotter. Julian's like crew chief, I think we call him now. I think he's crew chief. Yeah, that's the title he has. And he just oversees more of the theory of what we're doing that weekend, right? So we got Jose, Victor, Kyle, Julian, me,
Harry,
you, and Jeff. So Jeff also runs a shop at the racetrack. Jeff
that's why I was wondering if he was coming with you on events. Yeah, okay.
So Jeff loves FD, and he's been like to every FD round in the last 3-4 years. He just loves FD, and so he flies out and attends the events. And he was on working with me in 2019 when I was doing a bunch of like grid life stuff, and so he's also helping spot, but also just kind of helping around. You know what I mean? And for the next round, Jeff is probably going to spot because Julian's getting married.
Okay.
And so it's just a lot of homies, maybe a little bit excessive, but I'd rather like.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty normal amount of people.
Did everyone have a relationship with somebody else? Like, was there a connection?
Yep. We're all buddies.
Okay,
and
that's what I was gonna ask. So the synergy is there.
This year I got some funding, right? I got some sponsorship, Pedal Commander, Ineos, a couple other people, and could have bought a rig, could have bought could have bought some fancy stuff. I'd rather just bring people.
Yeah, you're like, I'd rather just hire my friends and
right,
make this a fun time.
Right?
That's awesome.
And like that, it just makes for a better time.
Yeah.
Right, and it's like we invest into the things that we know. Like I have a second transmission, which is completely wild as a concept.
Yeah.
and
just in case.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And we used it, right? So last round I was on front. I flew. So Jose was like, hey, I think all right, I can come. I was like, so I don't have to drive all the way across the country. I can spend 2 days more with my family. Sweet. I looked up and I was like, Frontier Airlines, $89. Let's do this.
Damn.
Second transmission got finished. I was like, sweet. I'm going to try to check that transmission. So I just brought it to the airport. That was no longer an $89 flight. And so
You mean check it like a bag?
check it like a bag. Just
Because
check
I thought you meant I'm gonna check it like, oh, let me inspect this.
No. So the weight limit it has to be under 100 pounds. That's what I learned all this in the past month. So you could check
After you try to bring your transit to
transmission,
carry on.
yeah. GeForce GSR weighs 114 pounds, but if you take off the shifter and the side plate, it's 98 pounds.
Now you put the shifter and the side plate in your personal bag.
Now this guy knows where I'm going. with
No,
this.
I'm with this. I wanted to bring a body kit home, and I was
Nice.
gonna cut it up.
That would work.
Yes.
Yeah,
it
as long
would.
and there's some dimensional things too, and the transmission with the box was underneath all those dimensions.
So you got it to this worked.
Well, they lost it.
Oh my
No.
fucking god,
So I was
You're fucking kidding me.
dude!
so they I checked the bag and I'm on my I'm putting it there and they're like, is there any what is it no what they asked me they're like, is it new? And I was like, it's
It's new.
it's rebuilt,
It's new.
it's
Yeah.
refreshed, it's
New-
from a
it's new to you?
TA1, yeah, new to me, exactly. It's from a the Camaro race cars, it's like a TA1 TA2 car. Anyways, they use GSRs as well. So I got a used one, got it rebuilt. It's in the box. And long story short, they check it, and I'm so pumped. And I fly,
Like they put it on the conveyor belt.
I post on Instagram. I'm like, yeah, they took it. Like we got there. And I land. And
Oh no!
it's not coming out. So they completely lost it for about 48 hours, and then they found it. And,
Oh, thank God.
yeah. Luckily, they found it because we used it because the other one went bad.
That's why That's why your eyes lit up when he said we used it too.
Yeah.
Do you know about the story about the guy who bought was getting a 4-rotor shipped to them?
Oh,
And
you're talking about-
it got lost in the mail.
Dam? What's his
Separate
name?
Rob Dom.
Rob Dom, yeah. I know
Separate
Rob.
pieces, and then UPS
stole it?
auctioned it.
wait. So what happened?
I don't know what
think-
happened with that,
I
though.
think it was the story is, again, I'm gonna paraphrase this. He was somehow acquiring a 4-rotor, and this was years ago.
Okay.
And then I think that it never came, and then UPS or whoever, the shipping, the postal people were auctioned it.
What?
Like, you know how they do that?
Sick.
They
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, when they lose something, they just auction it.
They auction it off.
there's
They
if
auction
you're-
the
if you're-
packages off.
If you're in the Atlanta area, there's 2 Wise Fab kits that are probably being auctioned off. Yeah, because they lost. Wise Fab sent
Jeez, man.
sent me 2 kits and they lost them. They we don't know where they are, and they keep.
Isn't that crazy concept like that? Oh yeah,
you just not find it?
we lost it, so we're gonna sell it.
Well, I'm assuming
Well,
they,
they didn't pay anybody for it.
No.
No, they no one recoups any money.
I figured the auction thing was like if they found
No one
something and
claims
no
it.
one's claiming it, then they auction it.
I don't know. I don't remember or
I'm
how.
definitely
But
claiming it.
this
If
is
UPS is listening, yeah.
Yeah.
somebody in the chat or the comments or correct me because I'm wrong. But that happened. How the fuck does like
It's
a
wild.
camshaft or the crankshaft for that engine is probably one of the most expensive pieces of that.
I can't. Yeah.
Like
How much is that motor? Like 80 grand?
I don't fucking know.
See
dude.
that's the beauty about Jay-Z. So people say engines are expensive, but you make a lot of power for under 20
Yeah,
grand.
yeah, and you could kind of still get away with building one at home.
Oh yeah.
Like
I mean, there's some things you should take to the machine shop, but
yeah,
you can
yeah.
assemble it. At
Like
home.
you're not decking the block at home.
no,
Like
yeah.
but putting the pistons in, assembling the bottom end, putting the head on.
Can't do that.
I can't do that shit, Chris.
Chris is in the background. Like,
That's when I call Chris over. Actually, the last time I did, because my GE, it's a GE, but it's a very maintained and the driest GE you'll ever see.
nice.
I resealed everything, but then the final thing I needed to put on, obviously, the cams. And after looking at the FSM, I call Chris. I'm like, yo, I'm going to try to put these in here. And then he was like, stop. I'm just going to come over, and I'm going to do that part for you. Because I knew that
Upgraded cams or stock?
it's a stock cam,
Oh,
but
okay.
I had a fear that I was going to tighten it wrong, and then I turn it on, and then all of a sudden that shit snaps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, like my $250 engine. Like, so, yeah, he did that. And it's just, I like when you can still do that to an engine. So, like, that, like, what is this?
JCs are so simple too.
like,
Yeah.
like the sequential trans, the fact that you said that it's out of a NASCAR or a old
It's a
Camaro
four-speed-
race car.
four-speed
I
dynamos.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
I always thought that
So
these
just an-
transmissions were just like fucking built to drive?
Yeah, so the old Cup cars in NASCAR used to use G-Force GSRs. They're just H pattern 4-speed dog box, and the TA2 cars, I think they're called TA2 cars. They look like a Camaro. They're not really Camaro, and they have a version that looks like a Mustang and looks like but it's all tube chassis, and they all run LS3s, like crate LS3s. And it's a cool little racing series. So they go road racing, and I mean it sounds like a lot of money, right? But it's like let's say 150 grand. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's 150 grand, and you get a whole car, and you just go race the crap out of it.
It's like a spec type of car,
Exactly.
like a Miata Cup car. They have a
Yep.
package like that. I think it's like theirs is like 60 grand, and it comes with like spares of everything.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, spare suspension, like arms.
And when you go into like the cost of building your own car,
Yeah.
like, it's dude, I'm the S14. I'm deep into that car. with all
could
the
imagine.
Yeah. So it's
We got some questions for you here, so
All right.
I guess we can start.
Yeah,
with
we
that.
do. I forgot. Did we even say that we were gonna? We do
Oh,
questions.
I don't know.
Oh,
if-
cool.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's do
We
'em live.
tagged, I think we tagged you in the thing, right? And then
I shared something that you
yeah,
shared.
yeah.
That's
so he
the
saw
one.
it.
Yeah, perfect.
So I'm gonna read some of these. Let
You didn't
Carl
tell
read some
him.
of them.
You didn't
It's
tell him
closer to the mic.
anything,
Is
bro.
he like,
Hey.
all right, this guy wants to know.
That's how it always is. Every time I go to the questions, I'm always like, all right, here we go.
God damn it.
Favorite S14 body kit? That's not a bad question.
That's a great body. That's a great body kit. So I'm a BN Sports guy. I love BN Sports.
All right.
And so I have a BN Type 4 on there right now.
Yeah.
And I used to have a BN Blister.
Okay.
But the BN Blister, like I liked before, but the minute a BN Blister gets tapped, it starts looking like poop.
Yeah.
Because
What is the blister?
It's like the
Blister's-
wide body kit,
it's-
everything.
Everything's integrated. And like as a complete car, it looks pretty cool. But
but in pieces.
but in pieces, it's not. Like
Yeah.
one piece goes missing.
Because
and
you're
like, "Eh."
changing the width of the whole car. Like,
Yep.
yeah, if you're
And
missing something.
The weird thing is like the side skirt is 2 pieces. It's integrated into like the rocker. It's like or into the quarter panel. It's like it's kind of funky. So BN Type 4.
Type 4 is the most aggressive before
That's
blister.
what I have. Yeah. So it looks kind of like a blister. It just doesn't have. It's modular rather.
Yeah.
Than, and then I do really like the 2F stuff.
Okay,
I think it looks really good. Just everyone has it.
Yeah, we hear a lot of good stuff about,
What's 2F?
about that. 2F is like I call it the D-Max rep, but
Yeah.
it's basically, it looks like D-Max with like the 3
Yep.
steps to it.
Ooh, yeah.
And then my quarter panels are in like I have the clamshell in the back, so
Yeah.
it's 2F.
2F.
And
That's
then
the coolest thing they sell. That whole rear fiberglass
It's amazing.
section.
It reminds me of the Honda stuff. For the front,
And so-
they just slip that whole
Yeah.
thing
yeah,
on.
like the whole like clip.
Yeah.
Same idea.
It's perfect for comp drivers.
And then the front, I have my front. What do you call it? Front fenders are Type
3 or 4,
Three.
maybe 4.
whatever the 75 mils are.
4.
Type. Is that really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my hood's a Type 2 origin.
Okay.
Because
yeah.
I used to have a D-Max hood, but the funny thing is, if you have a D-Max hood and it rains, the water gets in on the coil packs.
Coil packs.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks. But then
Yeah.
also, I think the kooky front kind of looks like a little bit funky in the
Really?
front. That's why I love the bulge of the Type 2.
Yeah.
So for me, it makes the car a little bit more, less aero-like and a little bit more symmetrical.
Yeah, it's definitely a good look.
People hate my flat cut rear bumper, and we used to. So I cut the bottom of my rear bumper
Uh-huh.
because it is impossible to change tires quickly with the rear bumper
Okay.
because you can't get the jack underneath. And I kind of like the way it looks.
I got to see a photo of it before I pass judgment on it.
Yeah, it's you know it's. I
Fucking
like the way
Frankie,
it looks.
I liked
Yeah.
it. Yeah, like it looks like a nimble looking car.
Looks like a race car.
Yeah.
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 I'm looking at the little designs of your car. It wouldn't be in there, right? Like
No,
the
it's
little-
on my.
on your Instagram.
It's on my Instagram somewhere.
I gotta find this. You read a question.
Okay.
Here.
Thank you, Frankie. All right.
So that hopefully answers that.
We have a lot of these. I'm going to skip the ones that were answered. Sorry, Lewis. He asked you what your experience with Netflix was. I don't think you should have asked him about Netflix. You should have asked him about Discovery. Koki versus Senki? I think that's an easy question
That's
for
a
you.
great question.
Ooh.
Because you have a Koki, right?
I have a Koki.
and even before it was a Koki, I think.
No, mine. It was originally. So which chassis was this? This chassis is a '97.
Last of
th-
Zenki?
No, this is a real Koki,
Oh,
which is hilarious that we've done this to it. But the previous chassis that we still call the same one, as I reshelled, was a Zenki. I like Zenkis, if you do the updated headlights where you get a clear headlight, because I think they look amazing when you like. I've never known anyone to polish the poop out of a plastic headlight for 35 hours to make it look nice. But if you do like the Circuit Sport lenses,
Yeah.
I think they look pretty trick. Like Julian Jacobs used to have an amazing looking Zenki.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, and it's just like done right. I think it's also like pretty badass looking Camry, right?
Yeah. It is.
I mean, legitimately.
All right, so what did you do to your rear bumper, man? I'm looking at this thing.
You know, that's
Dude, come on.
Yeah,
No,
it's-
I'll give you this though. When you're smoking the tires, you don't even know.
you don't even know.
So,
No.
Oh, because it's not scooping it and keeping it all in there.
but like you could definitely do that a different way, no?
So there's one other way.
Frankie's bothered
I
so
love how it's
fucking
like,
greatly.
it's like from a deep level, right? Like,
Like,
it's not
oh
like,
my God.
Like, so the other way to do it.
Like, don't use that jacking the car up excuse in here. Come on now.
So legitimately that was why we started doing it. And it's also you can do like a toe change on the fly, like.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, I've been like on the bank at Irwindale and done a toe change.
Yeah,
that
makes more
yeah.
sense.
But the solution is what are their why am I M-Spec made a I think someone is going to correct me on this, but M-Spec took the design of 2F's rear bumper.
Okay.
And then it has like a up to it. So
That's what I was thinking when I
Yeah.
saw this. I was like, what if he just cuts
so that's
the back?
that's pretty cool.
And
But
you
you
could
have
probably-
to have the whole kit. Because like I looked at the rear bumper to use that, and it doesn't really work with the Type
Yeah.
4.
And here's the other problem: like, if you're gonna modify that bumper yourself,
That's an easy way to do it.
you got to make more. Yeah, exactly. Like this one's not. That's an easy way. If you're gonna modify another one, it's like it's gonna take a minute to make that look good.
So the M-Spec does a Kevlar bodied S14 S15 looking thing. It's
Yeah.
a S14.9, and they have a rear bumper that looks complete on the sides and then goes up, which is kind of dope.
The vinyls is pretty cool though.
I love the. It
Yeah.
looks like a. It looks very.
Cyberpunk. That's what we were going for. About
It looks
Oh, yeah,
very
yeah.
like a race car.
Yeah, it needs a wing though.
It does. So we're not allowed to run wings.
Really?
No.
Why not?
I'm lying to you a little bit. We're not allowed to run wings on tracks that have walls.
Oh,
Oh, because it could
good
clip
job,
it.
Formula
there-
Drift.
there
That's
was
the funnest part.
There's like a gnarly video with Robbie Nishida. I think he was following Dean Carney, and he's like on the bank at Seattle. Just the wing just goes ping and like almost bounced off his helmet. Like it was like gnarly.
But that's why we have helmets.
Fuck out of here! I don't want that
So,
shit hitting my
I
eyes.
think- I think my car-
That has upset me so much. Just, like knowing that Formula Drift took wings
It's just
out.
a cut bumper. You're still
No, the
not
cut
over
bump.
it.
I'm fine with the bumper. Now the wing thing is
So
bothering me.
I'll send you a picture. There's a picture where I had a BN Sports wing.
That's huge, right?
Yep,
Those big ones.
massive. And so they have a rule at FD where it tells you how tall your uprights can be,
Yeah.
and it tells you how big your end plates can be, and like it's all in the rule book. Like you can be this much, but that much, and so I was like, all right, let's max this out. Let's try it. You start at the end, right? And then
Yeah,
you work your way
yeah,
back
yeah.
down. And this was with the Daigo tires, 2015 in Texas, because no walls. And I was like, all right, let's do this. And so we built it, and it was ridiculous looking, like absurd looking.
Yeah.
And I go to initiate, I'm like, I don't know what happened. The car did, like clutch is slipping, and like car would not slide. Car would not slide.
Oh, because of the end.
End plates, dude. It was like a.
my
it was
God.
like it was like I don't imagine
Yeah.
like drifting a sail. It's like that's the opposite of it, and it
Yeah.
would not slide.
Yeah.
And so Texas that year was you like make a right hand U turn and then you link. The initiation was right in the right direction.
Yeah.
It was a right hand turn, and I was trying to do the link, and the car just would not.
It's like an air dam.
It was like an air dam. It would just not transition. And so we took off the end plates, and then we took off the wing, and then we were left with the uprights. And I'm like, this is stupid. Just take off the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
And but that
funny,
was
though.
it was intense how much grip that added.
Damn,
What I
dude.
do want to do eventually is I think there's a workaround in the rule book where one the car needs a D-Max roof wing. It just needs
That
one.
would be cool.
Yeah, I just can't ever find one.
We can get that for you.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Sweet.
So we'll
talk.
do that for sure.
So it needs a D-Max, and then the second idea, check this out. So have you seen the new supercar trend where they mount the wings to the C-pillar? So I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna hate me because it's gonna be ridiculously ugly. But you do a swan neck looking thing off the seat. Look at all the faces in this room.
I
right
know.
now.
I'm trying to picture it. I'm a big
Off the
visioner. Let
You're
me.
doing this swan neck.
The C pillar.
Yep. So
From
imagine
the
like
C pillar.
so
What
C-
the fuck?
Yep.
Are you trying to make it look
said,
like
"Yep."
a Dodge Daytona?
So you could take out your whole rear bumper, right? The whole rear bumper, you touch a wall.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen. And the wing is still above the bumper.
I get what you're saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. So it is going to look like a Dodge Daytona or
What's a
whatever that car from Cars is.
Oh, no, but that's still mounted to the trunk.
Yeah,
I guess
that
he's
is-
saying it could
I got-
look
so-
like it's mounted on.
Or
the-
it's going to look like that
Yeah.
S2000
So,
hardtop that looks like it's made
We're
out of
going to
knives.
mock this up. I'm going to send it to you, and then you're going to send me a sad face.
I was gonna say, Carl, stop trying to think of something that looks like that because it doesn't exist.
Yes, it does. It's the S2000 Mugen hardtop where it's like fucking
no,
like
man.
Stick
Stick
the
some
angle
fucking,
of the uprights are going to be like that
it's gonna
from
be-
the seat.
Well, he said a
pillars.
swan one, so it's probably gonna be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so it will
but
be like that.
You got to do like kind of level.
Yeah.
So otherwise, it's going to look weird.
Yeah.
You gotta-
Oh, it's gonna look weird.
It's going to look weird for sure, but you can't, like, it's got to look right weird. Like
That-
Amy Winehouse weird, right? Like,
Yeah.
she's hot, but like, you're like, yeah.
Couple glasses of wine.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Ah.
Then you
That
get used
was
to
a
the flat
great.
bumper.
That was a great reference. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Which ones didn't you read? Can you carry more JZX parts, please, and thanks. That's
Sure. I'm gonna
Liam.
answer that for you.
Liam E36.
Yes.
I don't know if you know him, but how do you balance life, running a shop, pro spec, family, a drift program, etc.?
Yeah.
That's a good question, but yeah, we kind of went over some stuff, but
You have a
it's-
great crew. It sounds like.
Yeah.
that helps
honestly,
you do
it's-
that.
It's surrounding yourself with people that you can trust. And that are great people. And like, like intention and effort, right? So those are two hard things that rarely come in pairs. So intention, where someone's intending to be good and do the right thing, and then that will also expend the effort to do the right thing. So some people will expend the effort and not have good intention, and then they'll burn out quickly, right? And then it's that communication of surrounding yourself with people that have good intentions, but also will put the effort in when needed to be. And then also you just gotta fucking do it.
I was gonna say you gotta fucking want that shit, because if you don't want it that bad, then it's never gonna work
And like,
out.
dude, I gained 50 pounds in the last 2 years. I mean, like, there are downfalls to like doing it at this level, and I'm not saying that people should do this. There's detriments to all parts of life, but you gotta, if you really want to do it, just. I mean, that's a Nike sign, but you just gotta do it. Like,
That's
Copyright.
true. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason for that saying.
And
so.
well, I want to off of that because a week or two ago, somebody on Instagram DM'd me. I think his name was Tanner, S13 Tanner. So he messaged me and he was asking for advice, which I love. If I can help somebody else, that's awesome to
Yep.
me. I love that shit. But the problem was that the problem that he was having is the same problem I was having, because he was like, how do you afford to do everything? Like, I'm just kind of working, and no matter what I do, I feel like I'm not making any money, enough money to fund this. Like, how do you get over that? I just straight up told him, like, unfortunately, I can't give you a good answer because I'm trying to find that balance too. I'm still out there trying to find that balance. I'm fucking every day trying to find that balance.
dude, it's yeah.
And I just that made me feel good, because that means I'm not alone in this. Like, sometimes I'm like, damn, I'm a fucking failure. And then I'm like, wait, I could just
Carl's
Try
also
to figure
very
it out.
hard on himself.
try to figure out a way. But it felt good. There was another person that
It's-
has the same
There's,
hustle.
there's
right?
always other people there. Everyone's going through the same shit. Like,
Yeah.
So
it's-
everyone's has. I mean, the thing is too that there's. So you can get in your own head really easily. Right?
Yeah, very easily.
And my darkest year was 2016 16 was probably my darkest year.
I could have told you that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so I went through a really bad breakup, went through all the IG stuff, being the Formula Dirt meme of the year, you know what I mean? Like, all that stuff. I was in a effing dark place, like mentally not healthy.
yeah.
And the way I powered through is very maybe Eastern European. I just worked. Like, you just work. And that's maybe not healthy, but everyone has to have an outlet. And, like, you know, if you're in a hole, you can dig yourself out of it, right?
But you have to start digging.
But
That's
you have
the
to start
problem.
digging,
Yeah.
right? And so if you sit at home and you don't dig, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things that I think has changed a little bit with our, like, my generation to younger generations, which is grit, man. There's really, it's the two things that are really good for mental health are physical exercise, which I'm not an example of, and work, right? And it also comes back, but it's keeping the mind busy.
It's keeping
Yeah.
keeping the mind busy is the key.
And focusing our bodies and our minds on certain tasks and perfecting them as much as we can. Personal best, right? So whatever you do, like the only way to get out of it is just to keep at it.
Set goals for yourself, little things you gotta accomplish.
And to the financial thing, like I delivered pizzas up until 2019. Like I did that for 10 years.
Yeah. Like see anything like takeoffs, Daigo takeoffs. That's using your resource. That's making something that you ran into this problem. You came up with a solution of your own, and you executed it. And it fucking worked, did it not? It worked.
It absolutely did. And I think the one other thing is, I'm just going to say it, don't fuck people. And like people will get put by the wayside. That's if you're driven, it will happen.
Yeah.
Right. It's inevitable.
But there's a correct way to do that and a wrong way to do that.
But do
I
your
feel.
best not to screw people over.
Yeah.
Right. And I have definitely, unfortunately, right, and not intentionally, most of the time, had bad relationships happen. Right.
Yeah.
But I tried my effing darndest to make it right.
Yeah.
Because we got to do this all together. No one's going to do this alone.
Yeah.
And by creating good communities, I mean, we're getting some philosophical stuff right now.
Nah,
but
that's fine.
No, it's fine.
It's grit and just having good community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to have a lot of friends than any enemies. I mean,
I don't like recently how easy people are jumping to be hostile to one another within the same community, within the same hobby. Somebody can make a mistake, and then it's like hostility right away. Like,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
true.
and it's like you're not.
Yeah.
It's rare nowadays, and I feel like the people that I do run into now that are willing to always lend a hand, if like fucking shit hits the fan.
But I do feel like that's because of the internet. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I mean, obviously, like seeing people fail is fun, right? That's, I mean,
Yeah, to an extent.
to an
People,
extent. I mean,
people get
that's-
enjoyment out of it. They like to make fun of it
those
and
bases
everything.
of comedy, in 100 years ago, like vaudeville, like that's what we all slapstick. That's what we all laugh at is
Yeah.
like somebody getting the poop kicked out of them or whatever,
Yeah.
But at the same time, understanding that like that is also like one guy that is in the local scene, right? I'll never forget this. 2016, I crashed my shit. First round I've ever run at Pro 1, and it was raining at Long Beach. It was probably as treacherous as this is going to be, but three different
Allegedly.
three different tarmacs. Chris hit the wall. I go out and I just slam my shit into the wall, like my S14, and people are going nuts on the internet. Like, I feel like the bottom of the barrel, right? And this guy says, "Well, you guys aren't there."
Yeah.
And sometimes supporting somebody makes the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Anyways, that's some moody stuff. We got pretty deep into that. But.
No, because you keep talking about the meme thing, and I'm like, this guy probably got roasted for some dumb
Dude,
shit.
Oh, dude, it was like 2 years, bro.
Dogged you, man. Like that's
We're lucky. We haven't had that happen to us yet.
It's all right.
But
It's
Yeah.
part of the game.
yeah, exactly. At
It
the end of
is.
the day, like some dumb shit will happen, and
Yeah.
then we'll be in that same spot. And it's like I said, I feel like it's the internet because on the internet that will happen. People will gang up on you, and you'll feel like shit. And then you go out in real life at the event or at the track, and no one really brings up anything like that. No one's making fun of you to your face. It's just on the internet, which is like that's not real life. At the end of the day, like
I mean, the one thing that you got to know about it too is like when someone criticizes you, there's probably some truth in it.
oh yeah,
and
so-
you need to be able to
it's,
take
it's,
that.
it's what they're
and
yeah.
reflect on it.
Yeah, you need to be
Right?
able to take
And
that.
so that's one of the best lessons is when someone like insults you or does something like, "Hey, I'm never going to buy a 3-inch spacer again." I'm just telling you that.
I'm telling you, I could bet my life on it. You're probably never gonna buy one again.
But you get like, there's also there's both sides to it, right? Like,
yeah.
anyways,
I'm of the side where it's like you just can't. I don't know. You can't go off of people's negativity on the internet, no matter what it is. Like I understand what you're saying. Like there's some truth in it, but like at the end of the day, it's like, fuck that, dude. Because everyone can just spout out whatever they want to say. Who knows if that person was even thinking about like when they posted that? Maybe they were just thinking it's gonna piss you off. You know what I mean?
but it's the world we live in. It's also kind of. I mean, it's all right.
I mean, it has its benefits.
Yeah.
Sometimes that drives a person.
Oh,
Like
sure.
myself, if
Oh,
that
I mean,
happened.
in 2016,
Goggins.
that's what made me work.
Yeah,
right?
like, and the thing is my favorite thing is when you are in that hole, like, I'm not gonna compare it But I had a situation where I really mentally wasn't. I went through this thing, and then everything in my life, it felt like everything was crashing together. Like my personal life, the car wasn't running.
Yep.
That's
the key. It's a
we
big
talked
thing.
about that. It
Yep.
dropped it down, which means now I'm not mobile.
Yep.
And then like, it just all felt horrible. But then like, the one thing was the IS, and I was like, I'm going to get this shit running. This is the one thing I have full control over right now.
That's a goal too.
And then I got it running, and like I remember that day I was driving it, and I straight up fucking was laughing so hard that I shed some tears.
It's fucking awesome.
I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!"
Yep.
And then I had to do the swap again, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like, God damn
But
it!
you knew how to do it.
But I knew how to do
But you
it.
knew how to do it.
I knew the problem. My favorite thing right now is this happened at the Cars and Coffee. There was a kid next to me. I don't know if he was a kid, but he had an IS too, and I noticed there was an auto, and he swapped it with a W58. And
Okay.
I was like, "Did you do the wiring thing? To what does it say on your indicator, your gear indicator?" And he's like, "Oh, it's an N." And I'm like, "Dude, your shit's in limp mode. Like, let me show you." I sent him. I made like an Excel diagram because I happened to be on vacation when I
Good.
found this information. I made an Excel diagram a few years ago that has like screenshots of where the connector is, what wires go to
Sick.
what, and I was like, "Dude, I'm gonna DM you this right now." And he's like, "Oh my God, dude, thank you." And I'm like, "Dude, no problem. Enjoy your car." Like, and he's like, "Dude, I thought this car was way slower than it was, and I'm gonna go home." He was about to, dude, this guy was about to rip the connectors apart right there, and I stopped him, and I was like, "Whoa, I want you to do this like at home, and then that way you can let me know like if it works for you."
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna follow up with him myself.
That's like
'Cause
some forum shit.
Yep.
You see
It
that's-
was off of a forum,
Yeah.
but then I
forum
I
days.
translated it into an Excel sheet that I send to people
That's great.
like everywhere. And yeah, that's like
rad.
one of the things that I like about it, that I was able to push through. That's why I can't fucking sell the car if I wanted to. I love S
It's
chassis,
yours. Yeah.
and just I look at them and I'm like, I look at the car and I'm like, damn, you've been there for me. All right.
So the IS Sport, dude, I want one of those.
Which one is
the
that?
hatchback?
Oh, the Sport Cross?
The Sport Cross.
Dude, I've been finding them for moderately more affordable. Six grand. Yeah, I mean that's not really out of
The hatchback
It used to
one,
be
yeah.
it used to be like $4,000. But yeah, man, that has a seat that folds down, the passenger seat, so you could eat in the back seat. It's
Yeah.
fucking beautiful.
So I kind of want to end it on that last question because that was amazing. But I also just want to read this. This is for us, I guess. Not a question, but big love from the UK. Listen to every podcast. Best pod on the net. So
Right on.
we should read
Oh
that
my
one.
God!
And that's
I think
from,
there's some from
Maxist.
NZ on there.
Yeah, I saw that one too. Hey, from New Zealand. I can't say New Zealand. Is
New
that weird?
Zealand.
Is that weird?
No, it's New Zealand, dude.
No, New Zealand.
New
Can't-
Zealand.
I
Yeah.
can't say that last word. That's so strange. Anyway, he's from NZ.
You're an alien, bro.
My favorite, my Fair Lady Z is auto right now. Do you suggest a trans swap or sell and buy a manual? I say sell and buy.
Sell and buy a manual. Save yourself the hurt. All right.
And then same guy. He also said, "Love what you guys do. Top quality podcasts. Every post. Keep it up."
Thank
So-
you. And Chris said he asked one. Did he ask one? Do you see one from Chris on there?
Did he ask me one?
Chris, you know you're in the room. You could just come here and.
The question that Chris said was, "Can I drive the boat?" What does that mean?
It's just let me drive the boat. That's it.
I don't even know what that means. I'm too old.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're somebody who has seen some shit clearly, gone through some shit, and like you're still here, and like you're the most positive guy I've ever. Like,
Yeah, dude.
If I met you during that down in the dumps time that you had, and I guarantee you, if I met you right now, like. I'm very happy for you that you were able to get yourself out of that.
Thank you very
That's
much.
something right now that is really important. Mental health is like an important thing, and yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. This was
Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect. I should have watched a podcast.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, yeah,
That's all right.
But this is rad, and you guys not only have an amazing shop. This is
Thank
you
you,
guys are
man.
great dudes.
We
and thank you
we
for-
genuinely have
appreciate it.
fun doing these. Everybody I've met doing this, it's been
Yeah.
fucking awesome. I learned something everywhere I go. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
great.
when we started it was just like it was Carl's idea. I wanted to do a podcast, but I never was going to do it. And then Carl was like, "Let's start a podcast," and I was like,
And
"Okay."
then I
I mean,
showed
if Carl's
up.
going to start it with me.
I
then-
showed up with the shitty mics. I was like, we're doing this right now.
It is happening.
Like,
So
I can't-
we called it After Hours Podcast because I was like, "All right, I'll do it at the end of the day.
Yep.
We'll just start it. We'll record
Can
some
I tell
shit,
them some of the
and
other
we'll
names?
leave." And then it all blew up, and we were like, "What the fuck?" Yeah.
I wanted to call it like something else, like Franction.
Okay. All right. On that note, we're done.
Thank you guys so much
Right
for
on.
listening. This was episode 52.
Oh, make sure
Peace
you
out.
check out Formula Drift this weekend in New Jersey.
Oh, hell yeah. If you're in the tri-state area, go head on over to Raceway Park to check out Formula Drift and stay for Sunday. Actually, technically, you would want to go there Friday to
Sunday,
Sunday.
Pro Brodown. Are you going to Pro Brodown?
I can't. I gotta go see the fam. Fuck. I know. I would love to. I love that track too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
But Friday, you said that's
Yeah.
when ProSpec is running.
Yeah.
And then Saturday is
Pro One.
Pro One.
Yep.
And then Sunday is Pro Brodown, where you'll be able to see some of the grassroots guys race against these full-blown competition cars.
It's an amazing
It's a
event.
fun time,
Yeah.
That's
man.
my favorite Club Loose event of the year for sure.
Yeah. And guess what? Rizzo's driving that.
Oh shit.
We had a friend of ours who bumped up the B group, and I jokingly said, "Go drive with the other cars," and
He's like,
apparently he
"Okay."
signed up. So.
Yeah.
But again, thank you guys. Thank you, Harry, for coming.
All right,
And
Malcolm,
Thank you for
close
having
us
us.
up.
yeah, close us off. He usually plays this little outro, and I'll say some dumb shit right now, like, "Dude, why isn't it even playing? There it is." Damn, dude, that S14 is like perfect for Pro Bro Down, man.
Yeah, it
It's-
is.
Yeah.
You'd be in there shreds.
So my contact came out mid. Do you guys have contact solution here?
I have.